In 2024, a drone pilot in Texas made $427,000 in the year, working just 3 days a week. Meanwhile, thousands of other drone pilots across the United States are struggling to book even $500 jobs. So what's the difference? In today's video, I'll be showing you the exact blueprint to follow in 2025's drone gold rush. Plus, stay till the end. I'll show you an example of a business that made a devastating mistake that led to them having to shut down their business in just 60 days. This isn't just another drone video. This is your wake-up call to the biggest drone opportunity in 2025. But here's the thing. This opportunity won't last forever. In fact, at the 12-minute mark, I'll be sharing why the next 6 months are critical for anyone who's wanting to build a drone empire. And before we get rolling, please like and subscribe because I need all the friends I can get. Step one is the niches that print money. Let's get something straight. Trying to be everybody's drone pilot is the fastest way to fail in 2025. Here are the 4 niches that are exploding right now. Number 1 is construction monitoring. Construction monitoring is an amazing service to be providing for a couple reasons. First of all, it provides huge value to your client. When you are providing these construction monitoring services, it can help the overall contractor, the business owner, whoever's in charge of the construction, to communicate with their subcontractors to see if they're on target, look for safety issues, to look for things that are being stolen if they're looking from before and afters. And they can all be doing this remotely because they'll be viewing through what you provide. Now, on the flip side, this is also a really awesome service for you to be providing because it gives you continuity. You have each month or every 2 weeks or whatever schedule you've got set up, providing the same services. Just going out to these waypoints, taking the photos, perhaps some videos, packaging those up however your client would like them, and sending them on over. If they're not being used for marketing purposes, this is so simple. It's really just you go out, you get the data, and you're going to very likely be talking to people with some sort of budget to allow for this sort of expenditure because it's more of an investment. It's saving time, hassle, improving safety. There are all kinds of angles that you can choose when you're talking to your clients to really let them see the benefit of this and the value. Now, this is sort of an emerging market. You know, there are definitely people who are getting a foothold in this, but I will just give a little heads up. There is also partly education. So as you're going out and talking to these project managers, construction business owners, etc., they're going to be learning about this as a service because it's newer. So kind of pros and cons here. Pro is you're new. You can be the first one in the door, right? You can be the one who's really establishing yourself as a drone person for this service in your area. Now, the con is, of course, it might take a little bit of time to get accepted because you're starting from, maybe a little, not quite at ground zero, but a little above, just educating about what the service is, what it entails, what the benefits are, showing them a sample. So my recommendation is, again, getting that foot in the door, do a couple free ones. When I've done some interviews with other drone pilots who have found success in this niche, that's what they've done. They've proactively done a free shot, often connecting first, right? You want them to know what you're doing and kind of have that on their radar, and then do this free shot, and then they see the value, and then they're going to sign up for the actual paid service. So I'm not saying go out and shoot every construction site in your area and hope that some of those turn into a paid job. Make those connections, get the go ahead, say, hey, I just want to show you how this could benefit you. Is that cool if I just do a quick shoot and show you the results, and then follow up and see what happens? And then post it below because I'd love to see your results from this strategy. Now, if you have questions on how to find these different clients, there's really 2 ways. There is, of course, outreach and then inbound. So outbound, inbound. Of course, our holy grail is going to be inbound, right? We want your phone ringing with people who are ready to pay you what you're worth for the exact services you want to be providing and are ready to pay you that full price right now. That might take a minute. So very likely you're going to need to start with outbound. Now, I'll have some other videos here that will really help you with Google My Business, with creating a prospecting pipeline, and also with using LinkedIn for lead generation. So take a look for those other videos if you have any questions about those, about just finding who you're wanting to talk to. Number 2 is the agricultural revolution. More and more drones are being used in agriculture, and this can be a huge opportunity because you are providing value through a simple service, whether that is looking at crop quality, taking some different estimates. So how can drones be used in agriculture and precision farming? Let me share some different examples with you. One is just crop monitoring and health assessment. Farmers can use what you share with them to look for areas where perhaps growth is hindered. Maybe there's an insect outbreak or some other kind of plant disease, so they can look for signs of trouble early on. There's even something called multispectral imaging, where with special sensors, drones can capture really specific images and analyze plant health through NVDI, which stands for Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. And this shows how well crops are photosynthesizing advertising. That's pretty incredible. For precision agriculture, drones can be used to target specific areas in a field, whether that's for fertilizer, pesticides, etc., saving resources, reducing runoff, really just targeting the areas that need to be targeted, which can also be really beneficial for costs. That service could pay for itself. And next we have irrigation management, where drones with thermal sensors can look for dry patches. And that way farmers can optimize their irrigation systems so that everybody gets enough water. There's livestock monitoring, where you can use drones to look over huge herds of cattle or whatnot. Basically, you could be a virtual shepherd or an airborne shepherd. Then there's planting seeds, weed detection, disaster assessment, where drones can be used to look for different areas of damage, even over acres and acres of land, and allow farmers to apply for insurance claims or know where they need to start as far as repairs and rebuilding go. There's even yield prediction, where drones can analyze crop conditions and growth trends to kind of predict when things are going to be ready to go to market and maximize the efficiency of the harvest. Next, let's talk about infrastructure inspections. Drones have revolutionized infrastructure inspections by being more cost efficient and faster than traditional methods. For example, with facade inspections, instead of a building owner or management company having to pay for scaffolding to haul people up the side of a building and physically look at the siding, you can just have a drone that can quickly fly it, do a detailed analysis, and spit out a report that shows trouble areas. So bridges, towers, pipelines, there are all kinds of different applications for infrastructure inspection. So the facade example would go under aerial inspections and survey. So with different things like thermal roof inspections, etc. Bridge inspections, drones can absolutely be invaluable because they can be looking at the supports, the underbelly, all the bird nests, check on the baby chick status. And you're doing all that without having to drop people on ropes to physically look under the bridge. It's really kind of magical. And you throw in some infrared and you're looking for cracks, delamination, or other structural issues that would be invisible to the naked eye. Next, we have power line and utility inspections. Utility companies can use drones to look at lines, cell towers, different structures like that without risking the lives of linemen having to climb these tall structures, having to cut power, or take on other risks. And drones equipped with thermal imaging sensors can look for areas of overheating or other things that are going awry. Pipeline monitoring, drones can fly along looking for any cracks or corrosion, areas of leaks or problems. And again, that's just a lot faster than somebody having to truck along and do it step by step. Same goes for road and highway inspections, solar farm and wind farm inspections, and data collection for asset management. So the benefits are essentially, in a nutshell, that you have safety, efficiency, cost effectiveness, accuracy, and accessibility. I mean, those are really powerful things that the drones can bring to the table and really great selling points. Next, we have luxury estate domination. Now, this is a really fun niche because, although real estate's kind of a weird land right now, that means that there's actually a little bit more opportunity because the more compelling, more interesting, more well displayed a property is, the more eyeballs are on that and the higher the chance that one of those sets of eyeballs is going to turn into a buyer. So when you're learning and getting out there and specializing in luxury estates, you can become the go-to person for that. And that's where also the higher ticket productions and packages can come into play, because if there's a multi-million-dollar house on the market, they're going to be willing to pay for what it takes to sell it. This is where you can definitely get cinematic, creating marketing videos, and also first-person view. So if you've got the skills and interests to zip around inside of a home and really create a virtual tour that way, people love that. So that would definitely be a cool niche to get into if that was something that was kind of in your wheelhouse of interest. Now, definitely make sure you know how to avoid collisions, especially with expensive chandeliers or artwork, furniture, and also have your insurance in place. And of course, that's true for all of those. Just a little reminder. So the takeaway here is specialization. This is the biggest mistake I see new drone pilots make, is trying to be everything to everyone. But the more you can niche down, the more you can become that person, the higher prices you can command, and the closer you're going to get to that inbound mecca where people are calling you, ready to pay you what you're worth, ready to book your services. Now, if you're looking for a little bit of proof or some numbers about how these actually pencil out, and again, just the incredible value that you can be bringing to your potential clients, let's look at some side-by-sides. So if we go back to the construction site monitoring, if it was a traditional site inspector, they'd be having to take the time to go back and forth to the site, to take those photos, process them, get all that information ready to go. So depending on their hourly fee, which could easily be $150 an hour, the travel time, etc., this could be a couple $1,000 plus a week just to get these measurements of the site. Versus with a drone, you can deliver comprehensive site mapping, 3D progress, images, progression, safety reports for the same or less price, plus the added convenience. I saw an example in a forum the other week where somebody got a message from a client, a construction monitoring client, that said, your drone service saved us 22 hours of manual inspection time and caught a potential safety issue. And that potential safety issue could have cost $50,000 later to fix. So again, definitely worth that upfront investment to get these results. Going back to the luxury real estate, adding that extra flair can make the realtor client really stand out in their crowded market to attract future clients. You can create these really beautiful packages that are going to wow their clients as well as potential buyers. And if paying you a couple $1,000s for a package that helps move a property and results in a couple $1 million, again, because we're talking luxury here, that is going to absolutely be worth it for that agent to get that commission. And I've had that experience myself, not with the luxury side of things, but where I went through and did my Zillow method, which is basically looking on Zillow, finding the properties that have been listed for a long time and have really crappy shots, calling that realtor and saying, hey, I'll be in that area next week. I'd love to, I'll be doing a shoot of another home for sale. I'd love to shoot yours as well if you're interested. That's a really low pressure way to kind of get your foot in the door. If you're already going to be in the area and you're offering to add on a service that probably they're already thinking about, right? If their property's been sitting there for a couple months, they're probably starting to get heat from their client. They're starting to get tired of it and they're ready to put some money in their pocket from the commission. So this was an empty, just a wooded lot, essentially. They kind of did this and then this. And when I did the drone, it made it apparent how beautiful it was. Instead of a street view of some trees and then you don't really see anything, I was able to go through the trees and then you could see the view, which you wouldn't really be able to do on foot because it was pretty dense and kind of treacherous, frankly. I mean, I was halfway sure I was going to lose my drone, but I didn't. So that's just something we're adding that extra, this unique angle is really compelling. And that property ended up selling within the month. And I like to think it was because of me. With the agricultural services, just think of if their drone caught a broken pipe somewhere, that could easily save thousands of dollars between water costs and crops dying. There are all kinds of those little things that can very quickly make your services more than pay for themselves. And of course, with the infrastructure inspection, there's a lot at stake there, right? So if your inspection can show a defect in a bridge or a power line or a place where the roof is leaking on a commercial building, you're a hero. So again, the $1 million secret here is pick one of these niches, master it, become the person, and then start collecting the cash. So Xnay on the jack of all trades, yay. Success comes from focus. Now, if you don't mind doing me a favor, please pause the video right now and comment below which of these 4 niches excites you the most. What do you want to become known for in your area? I'll be sharing specific strategies for each one in future videos. Now, let's talk a little bit about your equipment. This section could easily save you $20,000 in expensive mistakes. Most drone pilots get this completely wrong. They buy the most expensive equipment thinking it'll pay off or thinking that it'll guarantee success. But what's more important is actually to just start with baby steps. Start getting success with what you have now. And then if you see there is a market or you have the interest or desire or bandwidth to serve other things, then you take the step. So my recommendation would be to start with the very best drone you can afford as far as getting images, which can still be done for somewhere around $1,000 or more. It doesn't take much to just get started. And then wait until you buy the thermal drone. Unless you know right off the bat, you've identified that very strongly, you know that's what you want to do and that's what you want to focus on, that would be my recommendation. But I got started with a Mavic Mini too. And I did luxury real estate, I did regular real estate, I did marketing and promotional videos, and nobody ever said anything about the fact that it was just a little guy because it got the job done. And don't forget to consider other costs. Earlier in this video, I mentioned insurance. So you also have insurance, but don't forget other costs. You have insurance and legal costs. You had to pay to pass the Part 107, probably some study as well as test registration. You definitely want to have insurance for your drone, liability insurance and whatnot. Perhaps you add some legal costs with starting or forming your LLC, although that can be done pretty much for free online. And also buying extra batteries and all the different things that you need to really get started as a business. That may also include things like Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever editing software you prefer. But if we add all of that together, we can easily get started for less than $3,000. So don't let anyone tell you you need more than that. Now let's talk about client management, right? Because you can do all the prospecting you want, but if you're not following up, you're not going to probably get any results. In today's very busy and distracting world, it takes quite a few touches to actually get people's attention. So just bear that in mind. If you don't hear back, that's not a rejection. Maybe they were in the middle of putting out a fire, whether, figuratively or literally, right? Or we're picking up their kids when they saw your email and they forgot about it, or they had something else going on, or they didn't need you right at that moment. But if you're staying consistent, following up, staying top of mind and providing value, just whether that's examples of past jobs you've done, examples of these cost savings or efficiency savings or safety savings, all these different points you can hit on, then when they are ready for your services, they're going to be thinking of you. And And I've got a solution for you with the client management. I have a specialized, what's called a snapshot. So if you'd like to very quickly get started with client management with preloaded templates, email drips, newsletters, social media images, etc., check it out below. You can sign up for a free trial and see what it's all about and see if it makes sense for your business. Now, if you're just chomping at the bit to get that thermal camera, I recommend something called the 10 jobs rule. So book those first 10 jobs with just your basic gear, then look at what is, the return on investment. Where are your profits? And then you can invest 30% of those profits towards upgrading. That can keep things really more manageable, right? You'll be able to cover your operating expenses, taxes, keep your prospecting going, keep fulfilling jobs comfortably while also investing in growing the business for the future. But again, what not to do is don't go out and buy the Inspire 3 for $16,000 before you've booked a single client. Don't get every premium accessory just in case. And don't pay for premium software when you have no clients. The more you can bootstrap this, the more you're going to be able to grow comfortably. And when you don't have that pressure, it's going to actually make it easier for you to get clients. I recently heard of a drone company in Denver that invested $40,000 in drone equipment without having clients, and they actually went out of business within 90 days. So it can happen that fast. But with a little bit of planning, a little bit of preparation, a little bit of knowing what you're going to be the specialist in, you can actually grow and guarantee success because you're taking it step by step. You got to walk before you can run. So again, if I can ask a quick favor, if you don't mind pausing the video and commenting below, what equipment do you have now? And what's next on your list? But of course, gear means nothing without clients. In my next video, I'm going to show you my exact client getting checklist and process through LinkedIn and really making it your LinkedIn lead machine. So stay tuned and I'll see you there. And if you're looking for the quick start way to get rolling with this business plan that we've been talking about, check below here for a checklist. It's a simple download and it'll show you step by step and piece by piece what I recommend for starting your drone business. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe because again, I need those friends. Thanks so much and I hope you get time to fly today. Hello, fellow drone pilots. I'm Sarah, and my mission is to help you take your drone business from grounded to sky-high success. Running a drone business isn't just about flying. It's about avoiding pitfalls that can cost you clients, credibility, and cash. Today, we'll tackle the 10 mistakes that could sink your drone business faster than a dead battery. But don't worry, each mistake comes with actionable tips, and I'll also share how leveraged Launchpad can help offer you a plug-and-play solution to get things right the first try. Ready? Let's dive in. Number 1, skipping drone insurance. I know that paying for drone insurance can seem, a little excessive, especially if you're just getting started and don't have those clients or that cash flow yet. But imagine that your drone malfunctions during a shoot and crashes into someone's property, or worse, injures someone. Without insurance, you are the person who's going to be liable. So I kind of think of it like this. What if you had the worst case scenario, right? Your drone is attacked by an eagle and it falls into a Tesla, which crashes into a power line, which falls onto someone's house, which bursts into flames, and everybody turns and looks at you, right? Without insurance, you're on the hook for every penny of that damage. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is there are plenty of companies out there, companies like Skywatch.ai or Verifly, and these offer affordable, flexible plans which can get you covered and not be completely unreasonable for your business, even if you're just getting started. Not only does this insurance protect you financially, but it does also show your clients that you're a serious professional. You've taken the time to do things right. So that's number 1. Highly encourage you check it off the list of things to not do incorrectly. Number 2, buying 10 expensive drones before you've made a dime. Don't make the rookie mistake of buying a fleet of drones before you have a fleet of clients. And I know it's super tempting. There are so many ways you can go with your drone services, right? You could be doing roof inspections or solar inspections and heat mapping. And there are so many cool things you can be doing with the drone. But if you are trying to get return on investment, I really encourage you to start small. Start reasonable, get that proof of concept, proof of ROI before you get out over your skis and, are buying things that you don't necessarily are going to pay off long term. Those shiny new models are definitely tempting, but more gear does not automatically equate more income. My recommendation would be to start with one versatile drone that can get the things done, whatever your niche is. So perhaps a DJI Mini 3 Pro if you're doing real estate, or a Mavic 3 for more commercial projects. Prove your business model and then scale scale up when you're ready. Leverage Launchpad also includes guides to help you pick the drone that's right for your business. And on to number 3, which would be neglecting Google and your website. Mistake number 3 is ignoring your online presence, because like it or not, part of a local business owner, a local services business owner, is making the algorithms happy. And part of that is feeding them. And what do they want? And this is me, like the algorithm that I'm referring to would be like the SEO. So when somebody Googles drone service provider near me, where are you showing up in those results? And when you're showing up with Google My Business, where you've got your profile optimized, you're adding photos, maybe they're even geotagged, you're adding offers and updates regularly, that tells the algorithm that you are an active, healthy business who will provide what the people searching for those terms are looking for, because that is Google's job. Google's job is to serve up on a silver platter exactly what searchers are looking for. So they want to be giving relevant information for businesses that are showing that they're still active, that they're updating things, that they're active on social media, even if when you post all it seems like you get is crickets. Sometimes all we're doing is feeding the algorithm. And that's just part of the game. To get to the top, you got to play the game. So Google My Business can absolutely be your best friend when it comes to attracting local clients. It's where people also are checking you for reviews, information, your prices, your packaging, comparison shopping. If you think about it, if you're looking for like a plumber and you Google plumber near me, are you going to choose one who's managed to fill out their whole profile and has 10, 15, 20 positive reviews, or the one who has 1 3-star review? Like it or not, this represents our business online, and the more proactive we can be about taking control and optimizing it, the better results you're going to get, because those people who find you on your Google My Business are those people who are actively searching for your services, who are those ones who are ready to pick up the phone or text and say, hey, can you do this job, and are going to want to pay you what you're worth. So much more fun than getting out there and grinding, cold calling, etc. Things that might be part of still doing your business, but it's a lot more fun when you just pick up the phone and can say, yes, I can do that. That's exactly what I do. Thanks for the call. As far as your website goes, it doesn't need to win any awards, but it does need to be clean. It does need to represent you. It needs to show what you offer and at what price and why. The more you can position on value, the less pushback you're going to get on prices, and the more you're going to be out of that race to the bottom on pricing. We want out of the race to the bottom on pricing, so really recommend that. On to number 4, trying to be everything to everyone all at once. And I know it's so tempting, right? You want to search for those lost dogs in a field and do cell tower inspections and also check for leaks on commercial buildings and do the real estate shoots and maybe some FPV and construction monitoring and all of the plethora of things that can be done. But just because we can do it doesn't mean we should, right? Again, my strong position is that you should be the expert. When someone says, hey, do you know someone who does thermal roof inspections? People should say, oh yeah, I know the perfect person, because that's what you've built your reputation, your services around. And so you're going to be the one who's top of mind. And that's just not going to happen if you're kind of trying to do everything all at once, right? You can't be the person if you're trying to do it all. So that whole jack of all trades, master of none is really true in this world as well. So just something to bear in mind when you're trying to choose what it is you're, at least when you're getting started, right? You can always add stuff down the road, but if you want to get established quickly, you can do expansion through niching down, which seems backwards, but I guarantee it works in the real world. Clients want specialists, not generalists. You know, another example would be if you need surgery. Are you going to go to your GP who has diagnosed pink eye this morning in some kid and is now treating somebody with nausea and vomiting, and then later they're going to go look at a weird rash and you're like, I think I might have appendicitis? No, you're going to find the person who specializes in treating appendicitis. So be that person. Be the appendicitis person, except with drones. Pick one niche and own it. Excellence in one area will build your reputation and attract high value clients. Leverage Launchpad can also help you pinpoint that niche and talk to that certain population that you decide you're going to target. Number 5, not knowing what you offer or how much you charge for it. Kind of a long one there. But if you don't know your value, neither will your clients. This mistake is a killer, being vague about your services and pricing. This is another mistake I see people do. Like they'll just be waiting to hear what a person's budget is and then come back with a quote that meets that budget. But my argument is, if you know what you offer and the value, you know, even if their budget's lower, they're going to be willing to pay more for more value, or vice versa. If their budget doesn't meet what you do, maybe they're not your client anyway. right? We're not trying to serve everyone. We're trying to attract those people who are valuing the time. And the more that you can be that specialist and really say, yeah, this is what I prescribe, this is the best solution for what you're looking for, the more easy it's going to be to book those jobs. And then the more predictable your income is going to be and your ability to scale. So what to fix there? My recommendation is to create 3 pricing tiers. The basic, the standard, and the premium, each with a specific value proposition. And of course, you're going to try to steer the most people to the middle tier where you give them most value at the best price. But there are always going to be people who choose the premium. So make sure that that's out there too, because you never know. You never know who's going to choose that, who needs it, who wants it, who's got the budget. So don't ever try to predict that ahead of time. Just give it as an option. Number 6, being afraid to pick up the phone or send an email. Let's talk about fear of rejection, which is also kind of fear of success in some ways, but that's a whole different topic. If you're too scared to reach out to potential clients, somebody else is going to swoop in and take them. Cold outreach doesn't have to be intimidating. Leverage Launchpad can help you with that. We've got pre-made templates, things that just make it super simple to reach out and stay top of mind. The biggest thing though is just to reach out to prospects and reach out with confidence. Again, anchor on your value. What is it you offer? Not, can I do this for you? Not pushing, but pulling. And remember, every no gets you closer to a yes, even when it doesn't feel like that. Number 7, not creating a system for follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Most clients aren't going to hire you after the first contact. In this day and age, most people have the attention span of a guppy. It used to be better, but now that we've got TikTok and a billion things going on and our attention is so divided, we just have to be more present. We just have to show up more often to be top of mind. So when somebody is ready to say yes, they know that it's you that they want to say yes to, and they know where to find you. If you're not following up, you're losing money. So you want to be using CRM tools to track your leads and your follow-up. You want to make sure that no lead is falling through the cracks. If you put effort into initiating contact, starting to build that relationship, you got to capitalize on that, and you have to keep on with that follow-up. Number 8, sucking at delivery. What kind of client experience are you providing? Would you want to work with you again? Your delivery can make or break your business. A shaky or poorly edited video, late delivery, or poor communication can not do great towards your reputation. And we want you to have a stellar reputation. Create a wow experience with polished footage, fast turnarounds, and exceptional service. You want to have workflows and processes in place. What is your SOP for each of these steps so that nothing's falling through the cracks? So that you know that you're building a reputation of excellence and you're meeting your clients' needs and expectations and even going above and beyond where and when you can. So just taking a little extra time to look at how you streamline your delivery process can leave your clients amazed. And then that gets you to the 3 R's, the repeat clients, the referrals, and the reviews. That's the trifecta. That is where we get the flywheel going. And again, business just gets a little more fun. Number 9, ignoring SEO and automation. If you're not optimizing for search engines, you're invisible. And if you're manually trying to manage your social media and emails and social presence and posts, you're probably wasting your time. You can probably relate to it being like Friday at 3 o'clock and you're like, shoot, I haven't posted anything this week, but I got to keep the algorithm alive. I got to show people I'm active. I got to try to keep prospecting and planting the seeds because who knows what seed is going to pop when. So it's important. But my encouragement to you is don't let it go to the last minute. Just put a system in place. Plan your content ahead of time. Schedule it ahead of time. That way it's out there representing you, doing the work on your behalf without you having to think about it, right? That makes life a lot more easy, a lot more simple. And so that's really the way to go, especially when we're trying to do a million touches all at once in this busy world, right? You don't have time for a million touches, but automations do. And of course, if you'd like something that can help automate your online presence, boost your SEO, and keep you top of mind with prospective clients, by now in this video, probably know that Leverage Launchpad is the best tool for you. And there is a link below this video if you want to do a free trial. I'd love to see inside. And now number 10, the moment you've all been waiting for, the worst offense when building your drone business. It is secretly being an alien and your drone is actually a UFO. And obviously this is a joke, but if your drone is actually a UFO, you've got bigger problems than what I can handle in this video. But more seriously, transparency matters. Clients need to trust you. They need to see that proof. They need to understand exactly what your value proposition is and what it is that you bring to the table. Being professional, authentic, and crystal clear about your capabilities and packages is the way to do that. And maybe keep that whole UFO thing under wraps. So there you have it. the top 10 things to do to fail as a drone business owner. If any of these hit close to home, don't panic. Every mistake is fixable, and Leverage Launchpad is here to help. From automated tools to step-by-step strategies, Leverage Launchpad makes running a successful drone business easier than ever. If you found this helpful, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the mistakes. Which mistake are you tackling first? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Did you know that there are drone service niches that can make you over $200,000 a year? Most drone pilots stick to the simple, easily thought of niches such as wedding photography or residential real estate photography, but there are untapped opportunities out there. Today, we're diving into 5 high-income business ideas, the gear you need, what the startup costs are going to be, and how to market yourself locally to stand out from the competition so you hit the ground running or the air flying, whatever you prefer. Whether you're a seasoned drone pilot or just getting started, you'll want to stick around to learn how to build a sustainable and profitable drone business. I'll even share insider tips so you can avoid common pitfalls that can derail your success. Let's dive in. Niche 1, construction progress monitoring. First up is construction progress monitoring. This involves capturing repeated scenes and monitoring of construction sites, basically creating a pattern that you'll do multiple times, usually at least twice a month for large-scale construction projects. Although this could also be for residential real estate projects as well. It doesn't really matter the size, but what matters is how often they're going to need that monitored, what kind of data they need, the format. If it is for residential real estate, then very likely the builder would be wanting to use this more for promotional purposes on the back end, versus if it's more of a commercial build or large scale, this might be more to communicate internally with shareholders, to track progress, or really just so that the head contractor can get everybody off their back, right? By just saying, hey, you can check out this footage to know where we are instead of having to get a million text messages a day. And that's a really value proposition, which is something we'll talk about in another video as well. As far as what you'll definitely need a drone with mapping capabilities like the DJI Phantom 4 RTK or the Mavic 3 Enterprise. You'll need mapping software such as Drone Deploy or Pix 4D. And of course, a simple website showcasing your services and portfolio. And this, of course, is something I can help with. Click below this video if you'd like help getting your own website up and running as fast as possible. And of course, a clean, professional, amazing site. Potential earnings go, each project could earn you as much as $500 to even $2,000 per flight, depending on the size and scope. With consistent clients, you could bring in $100,000 annually. Now, of course, there are a lot of smaller projects as well. And if this is just you getting the foot in the door, that's probably where you're going to want to get started. Even if it's just $200 a flight and you're doing it twice a month, that's $400 in recurring revenue, just with a simple, quick job that probably takes half hour tops. And again, depending on how much data they need, if it's more on the commercial side, they're not going to want big videos or highly polished images. They're just going to get those aerial few shots and videos so that they can communicate with their team. And that's it. Really pretty simple on your end. As far as marketing tips go, the biggest thing is, of course, connecting with local construction companies. Of course, you could even start with the free demo slide and send it to them as part of your initial pitch, making contact, or even just showing the value that you are bringing to their project and their life. Secondarily, you'd want to be optimizing your Google My Business profile so that you have construction monitoring on it, right? So people who are searching for what you're offering can find you. And quick time out here. If you're thinking about what you want to offer as a drone pilot, what services, you already got your pricing figured out. How could somebody who's looking exactly for your services right now find you? And if you don't know the answer to that, that's okay. But what the answer should be is that it's on your website, it's on your Google My Business profile, that you have recommendations or reviews from past clients, even if they're just saying you're a good drone pilot and it's not about that service specifically, and that you're promoting yourself, right? You're in charge of getting the word out about how awesome you are. And if you need help with that, I'd recommend clicking below for the masterclass. I got you covered. And another idea here is just joining local associations to start networking. And anytime you're networking, of course, you want to be following up with people. And yes, that's also included in the masterclass. Need 2 is aerial inspections. Inspection services are in high demand for industries like telecommunications, utilities, and insurance. Using drones for inspection saves time, costs, and minimizes risks for companies as well as the people performing the inspections. What you will need is a thermal imaging camera for detecting those issues. You also will need a sturdy drone, like the DJI Matrice series, and certification in drone inspections for specialized industries at least. It depends on exactly who you're serving, whether or not you need those extra certifications. So just a little research on your end and knowledge of what niche you want to go into can help you figure out what all you need to get checked off the list before offering that as a service. Now, as far as potential earnings go, right? Show me the money. These drone inspections can earn between $200 to $500 per job, depending on the complexity. Regular contracts with these companies, once you got a couple going, can easily lead to more than $150,000 a year. As far as marketing tips go, you'll want to partner with local roofing companies, utility companies, or even insurance adjusters. And side note here, there are a lot of independent insurance adjusters out there who help their clients to fight the man, where they've put in a claim and the insurance company is coming back and saying, actually, we're not going to pay for this. We don't think this damage is there. And these independent adjusters go out and actually advocate for the client. This would be a really good person to get the foot in the door with, because of course the larger companies may have their own internal drone pilots already or contracts in place with larger networks, but not the independents. So go ahead and check that out in your area, and I'd be interested to hear what you find. Niche 3 is agriculture and land mapping. Agricultural drone services include crop monitoring, irrigation analysis, and soil health monitoring. With precision agriculture on the rise, this niche has incredible growth potential. This would be a great time to get in on the ground floor. I'm trying to think of a pun here. Get in on the ground floor because that's where the seeds of success are planted. As far as what you need, you'll definitely need a drone with multispectral imaging like the DJI Agris series. You need agricultural mapping software and basic knowledge of farming practices to communicate effectively with your clients. Side note, you'll also need extra battery packs, and we definitely recommend getting a mobile charger, because if you are doing large areas, you're going to need a lot of energy. So just have that in mind if you're planning to go into this area. Now, as far as potential earnings, and don't worry, I'm not going to do the show me the money thing again, promise. As far as potential earnings go, farmers typically pay $1,000 to $3,000 for crop analysis services, and larger farms may need monthly flights. That means is that a single client can easily bring in $20,000 per year. So get a couple of those and you are doing pretty well. As far as marketing tips go here, partnering with agricultural co-ops can help you to just get your name out there, and you can also offer a discount for repeat clients. Really, getting people just on a regular, whether that's a quarterly plan or monthly plan, is key here. You want these repeat jobs, and you don't want it to be a new reinvent the wheel every single month or quarter. You want to have this all ready to go so that you can do the job as much on autopilot as possible. And you can attend farming expos to showcase your services. And of course, pair this again with your website, your Google My Business, and your socials. You want to be out there. The more omnipresence you can manage, the better off you'll be. Niche 4 is drone videography for local businesses. Local businesses like car dealerships, golf courses, and event venues are constantly looking for different ways to showcase themselves to the public so that they can generate more business. And this is where you and your drone can shine. Other industries that could benefit are really anything where you can do a dynamic video. Fencing contractors, roofing, tree services. I've done a fun video for a tree service before. And let's see what else. Churches, schools, private schools. I even have somebody I'm working with who recently did an event at a volleyball tournament that was for charity. They wanted something promotional on their website. So really, don't be afraid to think outside the box for these ideas. And here's what you'll need here. Now for this niche, you will need a drone that's capable of shooting 4K video like the DJI Air 3, video editing software such as Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, and you don't need to get that fancy. Some of the earliest videos I ever did were on Animoto, and CapCut can also do all kinds of things. So if you're afraid of Adobe, Don't worry, you can start small, start simple, and you work your way up if you want to. And it's also really helpful to have a portfolio of past work to show prospective clients. And that's something that you could do quite easily, but just by reaching out to your network, your friends, your family, local businesses that you work with. And you might be surprised if you offer to do a promotional video right off the bat. I've had people who the business already offers to pay for it because people do see the value here and you get the practice. So that can very easily be a win-win. Either you get paid, you don't get paid, you get the experience, you get the confidence, and you have that much more ability to deliver an excellent product moving forward. For potential earnings, drone video packages can range from $500 to $3,000 depending on the project. Securing 3 clients a month can make it more than $75,000 a year. Now, this can truly go as big as you want it to. I've worked with somebody who, as soon as I helped him optimize Google My Business profile and his website, he booked $17,000 in contracts in the next month. And of course, he was doing a little bit more than just simple packages. He was doing more commercials, and I think even a couple of them ended up being televised. But he was not the most polished videographer, but he got out there and he did it. And that got eyeballs on these businesses, and they saw the value in that. So again, don't let fear of not being perfect get in your way here. Get out there, start doing it, start delivering, start learning, and that's going to get you to the next step, the next level, and then of course the next earnings level. But you got to start somewhere. Marketing tips. How do you market your marketing? You want to showcase your work on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever your audience is likely to be. That's where you want to concentrate. Now, with all of the AI tools out there currently in posting programs, you don't have to really work too hard at this. It can be pretty simple to set and forget. And of course, I covered that in the masterclass. So I encourage you to check that out below, because again, the more that people can find you, the more omnipresent you are, the better off you're going to be. Because in today's very busy world, with so many flashing lights and shiny objects, it's hard to get people's attention and it's hard to stand out. What used to be, I think it was like 5 to 7 touches, moved to 10 to 15, and now it's like 25. That's like 25 times people need to really see your name or your business before they start to remember it. So just be consistent, be posting, be active, set as much as you can on autopilot, and eventually some of these mini seeds that you're planting are going to pay off. You could also order or offer seasonal promotions to attract new clients on Google My Business. You can have a promotion right on that profile. Very simple thing to do. Then again, you never know what's going to generate the next call. You could partner with local marketing agencies for a steady stream of referrals. That could be a good one. Maybe you barter a free marketing video for a marketing agency with your drone that turns out really cool, and then they're going to be sending people to you because you've shown the benefit of your service. Also, some other ideas for places to be marketing would be local print shops. Where are all of these businesses going to be conglomerating? Chamber of Commerce, local print shops. Use your imagination. See what local events are coming up. Maybe there's something that would be attracting your target audience all in one place where you can hit them all at once. That always makes life a little bit simpler. And finally, niche number 5 is search and rescue support. Search and rescue is a meaningful niche with high stakes and high rewards. Drones equipped with thermal cameras can find missing people or pets faster and a lot more easily than just ground search. What you'll need is a drone with thermal capability like the DJI M30T, certification in public safety or search and rescue operations, or at least background knowledge and experience, so of course you're helping instead of hindering. Now, as far as potential earnings go, contracts can vary widely, but it could range all the way up to $2,000 or being paid on retainer. This is also just a great way to get your name out in the community and start building credibility. And for marketing tips, I'd recommend partnering with local law enforcement agencies, fire departments, and emergency response teams. You can also keep your eye out for upcoming safety fairs or different community events that might want to showcase something cool like a drone for search and rescue. And of course, we have a bonus today. So 5 is not the end. We are on now to 5.1. And this would be marketing strategies for local drone pilots. Because we need to talk about marketing. No matter which niche you choose, you need a plan to attract clients. And what are the 4 steps to this? Number 1, optimize your online presence. You need a great looking website, Google My Business that's active and current, reflects you very well, and describes the services you offer. Again, if people looking for your services are going to find you, how are they going to accomplish that? What message are you sending? Are you clear on what you offer, your prices, and your value? because those are the things that it's going to take to attract those people who are searching for exactly what you want to offer and ready to pay you what you're worth. Those are the people you want calling you. That's the very best phone call to get. Somebody who's looking for you, for your services, and wants to pay you what you're worth because that's what they need done right now. SEO is also a big part of this, like drone services near me or your city name. Step 2 is leveraging social media. A couple post ideas can be before and after or behind the scenes, fun, engaging videos that really show people your personality and what you do. And of course, if you need help automating that, I got you covered down below. Step 3 is to network locally. You've got the Chamber of Commerce, you've got Rotary Club, you've got local events, you've got all kinds of different associations. So hit the internet, see what's in your area, what's coming up, what might make sense for you to show up and start just meeting people. You never know, again, what seed is going to blossom into a beautiful flower of a business relationship. Step 4 is offering free demos. Sometimes you have to show what you're capable of doing before people are ready to pay. And this is especially true in emerging services and industries like drone construction monitoring. This isn't something that most people are customarily hiring for, but once they see the value, they're very likely to say yes. So think of it that as just getting a foot in the door so that you can convert this into a long-term client. You got to put out a little to get a lot more. And of course, let's talk about avoiding common pitfalls. One of the biggest ones I see is not knowing your pricing or undercharging. Know what you're worth. And a lot of this video is about you finding the people that resonate with the value that you're offering so that you get paid what you're worth. So take the time to really sit down, determine your pricing, who you want to serve, how you want to serve them, and then be confident when people ask you for those quotes. If you are hitting the nail on the head with that value, they're not going to hesitate. Do you bargain with your dentist when your tooth hurts? No, you get it done, right? Same thing. If somebody is actively looking for your services and you've shown that you are reputable, that you got the skills and you know what you're doing, they're going to hire you. So don't overthink it. Get the skills and go into it with confidence. The second error is not marketing consistently. Out of sight means out of mind. And that's not only for your past clients, but also for the Google algorithm. Sometimes you might post and not get any likes. And I know that might hurt your little feelers, but posting is not necessarily for the engagement. That's a vanity metric. You are also talking to the algorithm that are going to decide who gets listed in search results. And being active consistently is going to help you get to the top of the list. So just bear that in mind. Sometimes you're posting not because you want people to engage or expect that, but because it's going to be feeding into the behind the scenes success of your business. And the third pitfall is neglecting customer service. You want to deliver wow customer service. Don't neglect the customer. Go above and beyond to deliver an excellent experience, the best product that you can, and learn, iterate, communicate, and just do your best. That's going to shine through, and that's going to help you build a relationship, get those reviews, which is going to lead into referrals and repeat customers. That's the trifecta of building your business. So bear that in mind with every client communication. Starting a drone business in 2025 is all about finding the right niche and marketing yourself effectively. Whether you're mapping roofs, inspecting fields, or creating cinematic masterpieces, the options are endless. So if you're ready to turn your drone into a money-making machine, hit the like button below, subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this, and comment below with your favorite drone business idea. Also, share if you have any struggles. What is stopping you from taking massive action today to get your phone ringing with your ideal clients? You can build something incredible, and this is the year to do it. Thanks for watching, and as always, fly safe. Question: does searching through various job platforms for lucrative, decent drone jobs sometimes feel like searching through a haystack for a needle? If so, you're not alone, whether that's good news or bad news, because a lot of drone pilots waste hours on job sites that overpromise and underdeliver. But what if I told you that some platforms can actually help boost your portfolio and profits, while others are really just wasting your time? In this video, I will take a look at the 7 top job platforms, expose their flaws, and reveal which one I think is the absolute worst and which one I think could actually make you some serious money. So stick around, because this could change the way you use job platforms forever. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I help drone pilots like you turn your skills into a profitable business. If you're tired of scrolling through job postings and wondering why your drone gigs aren't consistent and lucrative, then you're not alone. The truth is, not all platforms are created equal. Some are fantastic for building your portfolio and experience and landing high-paying jobs, and some are overcrowded, inefficient, or even downright predatory. Today, I will reveal the best and the worst job sites, including one platform I think is a complete waste of time and another that's a game changer. Plus, I've got a bonus tip on how you can maximize your results, so be sure to stick around till the end. Let's start with Droners.io. Droners.io is the platform that I hear the most from drone pilots when they're talking about these middlemen job platforms. And I know that was actually the first one that I heard about, gosh, I guess about 4 years ago now. So a pretty major player in this world, so to speak. It's a marketplace that connects drone pilots with gigs like for real estate, mapping, or inspections. Now, as far as pros go, it is free to make a profile, which is great for beginners, and you will find a wide variety of jobs across various niches. So if you're looking to just gain experience, get your foot in the door, see what's out there, this can be a really great place to start. Now, as far as downsides go, competitive bidding can definitely turn this into a race to the bottom. So the paydays just aren't that great, frankly. Prices are driven lower than they really should be. And when you combine that with the service fee that they take, your profit margin can be pretty slim. So this could really be a solid choice if you're looking to get your foot in the door. Again, just get that experience, start to build a portfolio, but be prepared to compete heavily on price. Next, let's look at Bees 360. Could this be a good choice? This specializes in drone jobs for insurance and inspections. So if you've got a house damaged by wind or a natural disaster or an unnatural disaster like a fire or whatever, anytime where you're going to need insurance involved and they're going to need to see what the damage is, this is where Bees 360 comes in. So if you're looking for consistent work, this can be a great contender because people's roofs are always being damaged. There's always something that happens. Here in Montana this summer, it was a 100-year windstorm that took a couple shingles off our house. It was kind of fun to fly up there and just take a look. You know, never good news, but all we lost was a vent. So if you want to be the person who discovers the missing vent, this is for you. As I just mentioned, it can be steady, it can be predictable. You know exactly what your job is. Bees 360 tells you what they need and you go and get it. If you're focused on inspections and enjoy that niche, it can be a really good fit. And you are paid per job, so that can be very consistent. Combined with the fact that there's always something happening to houses, you have job security. That's good. Now, cons are it is pretty niche. So if you're not into inspections, you know, if you're more into the creative world, this could get pretty old for you. And you do need specific training to qualify. So that could be a hurdle for new pilots. Overall, this can be a great niche if you're in the insurance, if you like the insurance side of things, but if you're not, it may not be worth your time. Next, let's go to ZiteView, formerly DroneBase. Now, this focuses on commercial and industrial projects like solar farm inspections and mapping. It's one of the more specialized platforms, which can be good because that also can mean that you command higher prices and have some of these more interesting, larger scale jobs, possibly even some continuity. You also have free access to training and materials to improve your skills. Now, on the downside, the standards are pretty high and they sometimes require specialized equipment, which I would never recommend you run out and get before you have, you know, a way to get that ROI that you can have guaranteed. Side note is I've also heard some bad things personally about this company, you know, kind of negative experiences, and they don't have the best reviews online. So just do your due diligence before you sign up for that platform. But again, it could be a really great opportunity if you're interested in those sorts of jobs. Next, let's talk about Upwork. And this one sort of surprised me when I was doing some research for really these top 7 platforms. I had thought of it more of a freelancing platform for digital products, but there is a section for drone related jobs. And this also can be pretty cool because, as you may have experienced, half of drone is images and producing those images and editing those images. And there are a lot of jobs like that on Upwork. So if that's a side of things you really enjoy, this could be a great way to complement your income through similar post-production jobs. I know that I've used Fiverr when I was first getting started for real estate videography editing. Of course, they did a terrible job, and that's why I had to learn how to do it myself. But that could be a way to differentiate yourself. If you do a great job, you could actually start developing some client relationships and have some continuity, which of course is the golden goose of the drone world. If you have a continuity with your clients, you've got continuity in pay and profits. So that could be a real bonus of using Upwork. As far as cons go, it is a bit of a free-for-all, and competition can drive prices down. And that is something to be aware of. A lot of times when a gig goes live, people are paying attention and jumping on that to give out their bids. So if you're somebody somebody who's really busy out in the field or doesn't really want to spend a lot of time monitoring these things, it might be hard to get a foothold, just something to be aware of. But if you are really specialized in a niche and you start to grow that reputation, I can tell you people who post gigs are going to start finding you. So definitely not one to cross off the list just because you don't have time to monitor. There are other approaches that can help it make it work. So Upwork can work, but it can be tough to stand out unless you're aggressive about pitching your value. Now let's talk about UAV Lance. UAV Lance specializes in connecting drone pilots to various industries like cinematography and surveying. It's accessible for pilots of all experience levels, and you'll find a mix of gigs, one-off gigs, and longer-term contracts. Now, the user base is smaller than on other platforms, so it might be harder to find continuity or steadiness of work here, but UAV Lance can be really good for building experience, but you need to be proactive about finding that steady work. Next, let's talk about DroneUp. DroneUp partners with big names like Walmart to do delivery and inspection. If you want to be kind of on the cutting edge of drone delivery, this could be a really great place to check out, depending on what area of the country you're in. Job availability is definitely going to depend on your location, and you might need specific equipment to qualify. But having that work with these big name brands can definitely help boost your credibility as well as experience, and they do offer training and support to help you succeed. So DroneUp is definitely promising, but it could be a hit or a miss depending on where you live, your experience, and really what your interest is. Now let's talk about Freelancer. Freelancer is another platform sort of like Upwork that connects freelancers with people looking for freelancers, and it also includes drone gigs. And a kind of a neat side of it is a global platform. So a global base can mean more opportunities, but it also means a lot more competition, which again means a race to the bottom as far as price goes. You could pitch your potential clients for custom projects, but there are a lot of people out there who probably do it for cheaper. That competition can be pretty brutal on freelance, and the fees are also going to take a significant chunk of profits, which can leave you with a pretty slim margin. Now, as a bonus, I want to talk about Angie's List. Angie's List connects local service providers such as you, a drone service provider, with those who are looking for local service providers. So if you are in a smaller community, this can be a really great place to start getting your name out there. If it's not very saturated, it can be, just at least some low-hanging fruit for people who are looking for your services. Now, a downside can be that oftentimes to rank, if there is competition, you have to pay for the listing spot. So if you're not sure you're going to get an ROI on this, or if there's a lot of competition, it may not make much sense for you in your area. But again, if you're looking just to build your local authority and you are in that smaller community and there's not that competition, it can be a really great place to get started. With the bonus, oftentimes the clients you would get through Angie's List are going to turn into a longer term relationship because they're not coming through a third party distribution platform, like Droners.io. You're the person who's providing the service, you and your company. So you can build that rapport and ask for referrals as well as, reviews that reflect on you, that grow your reputation, not that of an overarching company, so to speak. So the moment you've all been waiting for, which one is the best and which one is the worst? In my opinion, if you're looking for steady work, predictability, and just kind of knowing you're going to be able to get out there, get a job and get her done quickly, I'd recommend the Bees 360. They're well established, and again, they stay busy. If you're looking for some more variety in your day, I would definitely recommend. So Bees 360 takes the crown for steady, reliable work that compensates reasonably. If you're qualified, it's hard to beat. Freelancer is the clear loser here. The competition drives your profits down, as well as the fees that take what's left. So probably not worth your time, energy, or effort for freelance. Ultimately, the right niche depends on your goals, your equipment, your availability, and of course, what you're willing to settle for. If you want steady work, go with Bees 360. If you're looking for a little more variety, perhaps Droners.io or ZiteView. And if you're looking to dominate locally, Angie's List would be worth checking out. Now, of course, at the end of the day, my opinion is that the best approach is to build your own pipeline, cut out the middleman, be the person, this provider that's found locally by the people who are looking for your services and ready to pay for them. That's the best way to get jobs because then you are building that continuity. You've got the relationship, you're being paid what you're worth, you're not paying a chunk of profits or being the race to the bottom. And that's what Leverage Launchpad is all about. So if you'd like to join the 7-day challenge to see how we can put those things to work in your your own business, go ahead and click below. Either way, I hope that you found value here, and I hope that you've got some guidance on what platform might be worth it for you to sign up for. And if you've already checked out one or several, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. I always love to hear what people's firsthand experiences are. And of course, if you feel so inclined and you want to like, subscribe, or send this to a friend, always appreciate it. And I want to just be sure I'm offering what we're looking for here. So don't waste your time on promises that overpromise and underdeliver. Focus on the ones that match your goals, be consistent, show up, do a good job, and watch your opportunities take off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. The Zillow search method? What's that? Well, I'm Sarah of Sarah Flies. Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to share with you today my secret method called the Zillow search method that I developed when I was starting my own drone services business. It was a way that I found to get my foot in the door, get my first few jobs with really low pressure, and start making some money, trying to get a little bit of ROI from that expensive drone and everything that came along with it. So if that's something that you can relate to, if you are a drone enthusiast, you've got your Part 107, of course, and you're looking to bring in some income to start your own drone services business, you are in the right place, because today I'm going to share some different tips and tricks to start getting you on that path, get you some wins, and start getting you profitable. So if that sounds good to you, stick around and let's dive in. First, let's just talk about the opportunity in this industry. A lot of drone pilots that I hear from think, oh shoot, my area is saturated. I'm too late to the game. Somebody's already doing it and they have all the clients. Let me tell you, that is not the case. If you are worried about that, just stop, okay? I promise you, it is not saturated. For as many people that do have their drone license and skills, there are many more who are looking for your services, especially if you can differentiate yourself and base what you're doing on your value, not just be in that race to the bottom going through third-party platforms, which is the topic of another video. So we will definitely talk about that, but first let's again talk more about that opportunity, because I tell you, the drone service industry opportunities are going like this, okay? We're like right here, really like right here, okay? By 2030, if you start today, you are going to be well on your way to having a big old foothold in your area. And there are some ways that you can accelerate that, especially through claiming your Google My Business, a little bit of just proactive local marketing. Again, topics for another video, but I want you to know it's out there. It's very doable. You still have time. If this is your passion, if this is what you want to pursue, I guarantee you can do it. We're going to find a way together. So talking about the booming industry, there's not just one way to do this either, right? That's part of the beauty of it. If you are really into the creative side of things, filmmaking, etc., well, then follow that. If you're really enjoying drone solar panel inspections and thermal and that kind of thing, that's your jazz. Cool, plenty of room. Construction monitoring, personally one of my favorites. I really like the continuity and predictable income that comes with construction monitoring, but it's kind of boring. That's fair. So again, there are all kinds of different niches you can go. Residential real estate, FPV, luxury real estate, first person view drone footage for those of you who are newer to the area or the industry, commercial real estate. For a while, Airbnb was really big, trying to do promotions. So that's a whole different marketing side of it. The world is your oyster. What I really do encourage you, though, as we're diving into this, is start thinking about which of those different topics or a different niche really resonates with you. Where could you see yourself putting enough time and energy and effort to make it your area of expertise? Because ultimately, the best way to attract those regular high-paying clients who pay you what you're worth is to become the person in that area. You don't want to be the jack of all trades, okay? You don't want to be jumping around from pet rescue to cell tower inspections to drone fishing competitions to, who knows, all of the different things. You want to be, you're looking for a construction monitoring, you want to call Jeff. He knows what he's doing. He does a great job. Or, oh, you're looking for a luxury real estate tour? That's Sarah. She does a great FPV. She's definitely never hit a chandelier. Those sort of things. How could you be the person in your area? So that's something we'll lean into down the road too, as far as your website, your Google My Business, and down the road, something called the local celebrity method, where we're going to try to get you a little bit of press around this. But you got to get the skills first, then the reputation. That's going to lead long-term to repeat clients, awesome reviews, and referrals. The 3 R's, that's the sweet spot, okay? So yes, research what interests you, lean into that, know what you're getting into, and yeah, reach out to other people. I think you'd be surprised how open other drone pilots can be to helping you along the way. Now, granted, it might be wise to go a little bit outside of your area so you're not in direct competition. Don't be afraid to reach out to other drone pilots. Wouldn't you like to reach a hand down to people behind you and help share your hard-won lessons? For most people, that's also how they feel. Wouldn't you be happy to reach a hand back to somebody who's a few steps behind and share your hard-won knowledge? I know that I would. So yes, find a field that excites you and has room for growth and growing demand, and you're going to be totally golden. Okay. Now let's talk about the niche of residential real estate. This is one of the easiest niches to break into as a beginner. So if you're looking to get, your feet wet, you start getting some experience, and that's for the whole thing, right? From prospecting for clients, doing a job, communicating about the job, processing those images, delivering, making sure that whole experience is really great for your clients. Total full scope here. And it's also low pressure because although it's important to get good shots, these are not going into the, Metropolitan Museum of Art. Right? These are shots that are going to go on a website until the house sells, and then nobody's ever going to care about them again. I'm sorry, but it's true. As much perfectionistic tendency you may have, just tamp them down a little bit here. You want to do a great job, but there's also good enough. Okay. Just aim for just above good enough. Make sure your client is happy, and you're going to be fine. Doesn't need to be perfect. And there's always going to be demand. Realtors are always going to be needing new images for their listings, especially those that have been sitting for a while. That's a secret gold mine. And you can be the one who can help get those moving. Statistically, homes with aerial photos get something crazy, like 60 to 80% more viewings on Zillow. So you can go into this knowing you are providing a valuable service. You're providing an image that's going to get more eyeballs on a property. That's going to be better for the home seller. It's going to be better for people looking for homes because they're going to find something that they like and get some more knowledge. It's going to probably end up in a higher home price. Everybody's going to win. So doing a service here. Remember that you're doing the service. You're not asking for a favor when you're offering your services. These images can really make a property stand out. You're the person to do it. And a great place to get started and start learning. Also, the startup costs are pretty low. You don't need a ton of equipment. Now, if this is what you decided is really your passion, sure, you could go all in and get a Matterport and start doing the jumps around the house and staging and whatnot. Or honestly, you don't have to do all that. There is room to just add aerial photography on top of that. I've been at a house doing aerial photography while the interior was being done on multiple occasions. So again, a lot of people have this misconception, oh, they're already getting that covered. No, they're not. There are plenty of exceptions to the rule. Plenty of people that do part of it, or the realtor might think they only need part of it, or a pilot gets sick, or who knows. Again, you don't know if they need it till you ask. Don't be afraid to ask. As far as getting certified, we're just going to take a quick little backup here and just talk about the Part 107 in case this is you doing some exploring. If this is not you doing exploring, you already have your Part 107, just jump to the next chapter. But the Part 107 is your special certification through the FAA that is required for you to use any images taken by drone commercially. So if you're recreational, you can fly your heart out. You can take all the photos you want, as long as you're obeying the airspaces and not hitting helicopters and whatnot. But if you want to use an image commercially, whether that's to promote a business, to take a photo of your own house for a Zillow listing, to do anything commercially with these images, you have to have the license first. It's a hoop you just have to jump through. There's plenty of training online. On my channel, I do have a series of trainings as well and a little study guide. So if that's helpful to you, and it's not super complex, granted, I did not pass my Part 107 the first try, and I consider myself a pretty good test taker, but that also meant I didn't prepare as much as I should have. So it is out there, something to jump through. Just make sure you're prepared and you'll be totally fine. And then that can open the door to applying all of these skills to your business and making it profitable. Jump through that hoop first. Now, when it comes to building a portfolio and landing your first clients, we're in this niche, we're talking about realtors as your target market, right? So where are you going to find realtors? We already talked about Zillow. That's an obvious answer, as well as all the other ones like realtor.com and Redfin or whatever's in your area. So the Zillow method is simply scrolling through there and looking at listings that have been on the market a little bit longer. That could be depending on your area and the time of year. It could be as little as 2 weeks or couple months, and then look at the quality of those images. Do they kind of suck? If you have never perused the Zillow listings, you may be taken aback because unfortunately, some realtors are just doing their clients a huge disservice with the poor quality of images, even on really higher priced homes. It's a little mind-boggling sometimes, but there are people out there just half-assing it, okay? So if they've been half-assing it and it's somehow not paying off, this is where you can get a chance to move the needle. So what I would encourage you to do is just scroll through, make a list, or use Google Sheets or whatever. Start tracking the addresses and names of the realtors. So, XYZ Berry Avenue is listed by John L. Scott. Obviously not John L. Scott, but whoever the realtor is, and their phone number and email. And get that list going. And then start with some cold calls. Don't be afraid of the phone, okay? I'm Gen X. I grew up having to talk to parents when I called friends, and we've all gotten away from that, right? Obviously, text is nicer, but realtors are a perfect person to practice your phone skills on because they are on the phone all the time, okay? So again, just brave, pick up the phone, call. I've gotten multiple yeses in the same day just by calling off of these listings. A vacant land lot, and then just a house that the picture wasn't very good and it wasn't moving. And I simply called and I said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I'll be in your area on Tuesday doing aerial photography for a property. Would you like me to also do yours? Really simple, an easy ask. They're in, they're out. They can ask more questions. Either way, worst case scenario, you'll say, okay, that makes sense. Can I reach out to you for the next one? Or can I send you a sample of my work? You're starting to open the door. You're starting to open a line of communication so that when they are in a situation where they do need a pilot, if it's not today, and they do need photos, they're like, oh, who was that who called me? Oh, they sent me an email. They're not like, oh, that one person texted me once and then I never heard from them again. Like, no, we're creating a system here so that you're going to stay top of mind. And you got to start somewhere. You got to start planting those seeds, taking those risks, and that's how you're going to get the rewards. All right, now you have learned the Zillow search method and you are going to get some real good progress. See, I did jot down a couple notes here for if you did want to follow up, you could just say, hey, realtor's name, if they didn't answer, I noticed you're listing at this address. As a local drone pilot, I specialize in creating stunning aerial shots that help homes sell faster. Would you be interested? Or if you're really just getting your feet wet, you could say, would you be interested in a free demo? That can be really great for getting your foot in the door, especially if you've got a particularly cheap realtor. But if they like your work, they're likely to hire you, at least for the future, and also recommend your services. So a couple different paths there, depending on your experience, your comfort level, what you're willing to do for free or not, and kind of move forward from there. But let's talk a moment about pricing your services. When starting out, it's just a good idea to keep things simple and competitive. Do some research in your area. What are other people charging? Just be somewhere there in the sweet spot. As you grow your skills and grow your portfolio and your reputation, then absolutely you can raise prices. There are other ways to raise your profits as well by adding other services or kind of upsells, but you got to start somewhere. So start simple. This doesn't need to be complicated. Couple packages. This is what you do in A, B, and C. This is what you get. Wham, bam. That's all it takes. So for residential real estate, I would recommend starting at $150 to $300 per shoot. And an easy upsell here would be adding a video tour. If you do a video tour, keep it short, by the way. People don't want a 3-minute video tour or promotional video. 30 seconds or less is perfect, okay? Our attention spans are way too short for anything more. And again, as your experience grows, you can raise your rates. Once you've landed a few clients, that's when it's time to scale. That's when you can start investing in other drones, other more expensive things that are going to allow you to do different jobs or higher resolution cameras. My recommendation is not to get all the drones at once, all the different options of thermal and XYZ right off the bat. Make sure this is something that you're proving to yourself you're able and willing to get out there, do the work, find the clients, and make this pay off, right? This video is all about just getting your foot in the door, getting those first few clients, getting experience, and getting paid. And don't ever forget to ask for referrals. Organic is the best way to grow. People are much more likely just to pick up the phone, call you, book you, without pushing back on prices or too many questions, if they're getting your name from somebody they already trust. So every time you're doing this, you're building your foundation for your business, for your future success, for your future paydays, right? So in conclusion, starting a drone business is obviously a lot more than just about flying. It's about solving problems for your customers. It's about bringing value to the table. It's about showing up and doing the work the best way you can, making things a positive experience, and learning. Still cut yourself a little slack. You are learning, you're gonna make mistakes, but you're also going to have some really big wins, but you got to be out there and giving it a try and taking some risks first. So if you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you wanted to like, share, subscribe, shout it from the rooftops, whatever feels right in your heart. Either way, hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, happy flying. Did you know that with the right drone and skills, you could be making up to $10,000 a month mapping real estate projects, construction sites, and industrial projects? Aerial mapping is one of the highest paying and highest demand drone services out there, and yet most drone pilots don't tap into it. Why? Because they think it's too technical, too complicated, or too expensive. But that's a huge mistake. What if I told you that in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you an exact roadmap to becoming an aerial mapping pilot, including the exact equipment, software, and pricing strategies that you need to start landing high-paying clients. And if you skip this, you're leaving thousands of dollars on the table. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have everything that you need to start your aerial mapping business the right way. Aerial mapping, also called drone surveying or photogrammetry, is a process of using drones to catch high-resolution images and data to create 3D maps, elevation models, and site measurements. These maps are more detailed, faster, and cheaper to produce than traditional ones. And by that I mean traditional ground surveys. And that's why businesses are willing to pay top dollar for drone pilots who can do it right. So who's willing to pay for aerial mapping? We have construction companies, where you can measure job site progress, stockpile volumes, and earthwork calculations. Real estate developers are looking for 3D maps for new projects for investors and city planners. Industrial sites and mining want to monitor stockpile inventory, soil erosion, and land use. Side note, maybe you can spot some gold or gems. I don't know, that'd be kind of a fun side project, right? Your drone down a cave or whatever. And I know, you can't really get too far down a cave, but it's fun to think about. Next, we have agriculture and land management to optimize crop planting and soil health. We've talked about that one in the past, where there is so much energy and labor involved in just trying to go out through, agricultural land, especially if it's been like after a flood or hail or some other weather event, and a drone can very easily cover that same ground much more quickly, much more accurately, look for signs of damage that need to be addressed like that. And of course, we have city planning and infrastructure to map roads, bridges, and new developments. So kind of a fun side project is, do you have any roads, bridges, or new developments in your area? You could go out and take take a quick survey with your drone and just, see for yourself what data could be valuable from what you can gather from the sky. And the best part, these industries don't usually need just one-off projects. Many of them need aerial mapping that's recurring weekly or monthly, which means recurring revenue for you, because those recurring contracts can turn into really predictable income, and of course, higher income than other traditional one-off jobs too. So it's like win-win-win. So what are the 5 steps to becoming an aerial mapping pilot? Step 1 is, of course, get your FAA 107 license. If you want to make money with drones in the US or use them for any commercial applications, which include making money, then you need your Part 107 license. More specifically, the Part 107 Remote Pilot Certificate. The test covers airspace regulations, weather, and drone safety, but don't worry, it can seem kind of intimidating when you start going through the study guide, and there are a lot of resources online, but it's really not that bad. It's just learning things that are really important when you are flying a drone, right? Do you want to be in military zones that are restricted? No. Should you know how to read the weather? Do you want to know if you should have people who are watching your drone if you can't see it? Also very important. So a lot of it's common sense. Some of it is a little tricky, reading the maps and whatnot, but if you just put a little bit of time in, it's pretty simple to learn, and it's not that bad. The test itself is about $175. You do have to take it at a special exam center, so you can find that quite easily through the site. So I'd recommend giving it a week or 2 to study, but don't let it draw out too long. Seriously, when I did it, I just binged over a weekend, really hammered it in, and then went in and took the test. And actually, I failed the first time because I didn't take my own advice. I just thought I'm good at taking tests, and I got the basics down, but it turned out I needed a little more information. And once I actually dove into it, took the time to learn it and put that focus into it, the next time, piece of cake. And then once you pass, you're legally allowed to start offering your services and landing those paying clients. Step 2 is getting the right drone for aerial mapping. Not all drones are built for aerial mapping. If you've got a Mini 2, it's not going to do the job. You need a drone with a high precision camera and GPS precision to capture accurate mapping data. So as far as the best entry-level mapping drones, there's the DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise, assuming it's still available in the US, and that's a great balance of affordability and quality. Then there's the Autel Evo 2 Pro RTK, and that's a solid alternative with RTK capabilities. And for the best advanced mapping drones, there's a DJI Phantom 4 RTK, which is built specifically for surveying and mapping. The DJI Matrice 300 RTK, and that's best for large-scale precision mapping. So, do you need the most expensive drone? Absolutely not. Many mapping pilots start with the DJI Mavic 3E and can still land high-paying clients and do a great job. But if you want the most accurate maps, getting an RTK is a great move. Step 3, learn the software. And this is a step that a lot of pilots overlook. And this can be a real stumbling point. So make sure that you avoid it, because you can buy a drone that's an expensive drone, right? Fly it around. But if you don't know how to process the data, it's not going to be of that much use. Mapping is not just about taking pictures. It's about using software to create usable, high-quality deliverables for your clients. I mean, I made this mistake early on, even just doing real estate photography. I got the drone, I got the job, and then I got the pictures, and I kind of had an oh shoot moment of how to really optimize them and having to really quickly try to learn Photoshop. I even ended up hiring some guy in Fiverr who charged me $50 to make it worse. So avoid that. Make sure you know how to do the data before you get the project. It's just my word to the wise. It'll save you a little bit of sweat and stress, I promise. So as far as what that essential mapping software is that I recommend you learn, there's Drone Deploy, which is best for construction and real estate, Pix 4D, which is advanced photogrammetry for high accuracy 3D models, Web ODM, which is a free option, and that's open source software for basic drone mapping, QGIS, a really catchy name, which is free GIS software for analyzing mapping data. So think about it. If you can not only fly the drone, but also capture detailed, actionable data, you've just doubled your value and pricing power. Step 4 is master the mapping process. And that means flight, data collection, and processing. Mapping flights are totally different than normal drone photography. Here's the step-by-step process to run a professional aerial mapping mission. The first step is to plan your flight in the software. Use Drone Deploy or Pix 4D to create an automated flight path with overlapping images. Number 2 is fly autonomously. The drone automatically catches the images while you monitor. 3 is process the data. So you upload the data into photogrammetry software that'll create either 2D maps or 3D models. And number 4 is deliver the final project. Send your clients a detailed, actionable report with clear insights. And bonus tip, the more you understand what your clients actually need, the easier it is to charge premium rates. Step 5 is find clients and get paid. And when you do this right, you can charge up to $1,000 or even more per job. So you've got the drone, you know how to fly the missions, you understand the software, but now how do you get clients? So here's what I suggest as far as going around trying to land your first aerial mapping client. The first thing to do is choose your niche, whether that's construction, real estate, or agriculture. Think about who do you like working with? What is that ultimate job that you want to do? What contacts do you already have? Do you already have a foot in the door, either through someone you know directly or a friend of a friend? That can be really powerful for just getting kind of that quick start. Step 2 is create a sample portfolio. You can offer free jobs to a business or two to start growing not only your skills, but your portfolio and your reputation. Step 3 is outreach and networking. Contact local developers, contractors, and surveyors. And of course, with this step, if you'd like a software that's already loaded up with these nurture sequences, you can click below this video and there's a link you can click that will help you set up your account that's preloaded with everything you need to start prospecting. Moving on to step 4. This is all about pricing your services right. Most mapping jobs range from $500 to $5,000 depending on size and complexity. Here's a quick pricing example. A small job site of about 2 acres could run from $500 to $1,000. A mid-sized development from 10 to 20 acres could be from $2,000 to $3,000. And large-scale surveying of 50 plus acres, that could easily be $5,000. Make sure that you're accounting for the time that it takes you, as well as the skills you have in your equipment, right? Just because it doesn't take much time, perhaps, if it's a smaller parcel, doesn't mean that it's not worth a lot. And if you are doing bigger ones, also just remember you're going to need some extra batteries. And again, the best part of this is a lot of these projects are going to need recurring flights. They're going to need ongoing data. It's not just a one and done. It's going to be as the project progresses, as the crops are growing, as the seasons change, they're going to need updated data. And that's going to be putting recurring income in your pocket. Aerial mapping is one of the fastest growing, highest paying drone services. And now you know how exactly to get started. If you found this valuable, please like and subscribe. I can use all the friends I can get. And I post weekly tips on how to turn your drone into a profitable business. And if you want a free checklist for getting started, check the link in the description. And I hope you get time to fly today. Welcome to Clockwork Clients. I'd like you to take a moment here, recognize yourself for all the hard work you've put in so far in dialing in your marketing message, deciding who you're going to serve, doing all the work to get your socials set up, optimizing the crap out of probably what felt like everything. And now you are to the fun part. So let's get rolling. When it comes to getting clients, we're building on the foundation that we've already set, right? We've got your online presence. We've got, if you're choosing to paid ads, which again, I recommend holding off on. We've talked about content marketing. All of these are those seeds that we're planting that are going to pay off in the long term. Now we're going to talk about some things that we can do that are a little more proactive. First among these is going to be email marketing, of creating systems to get positive reviews. Again, that social proof is going to be something that's so huge. We can talk about networking and different strategies to get in front of the right people, asking for referrals, and again, different ways to be advertising or active in your community. Then there are things going to pay off in the long term. So customer service is going to be huge. And that's also part of this program, right? We're going to create a wow delivery program so that every time you deliver your service, your product is going to be amazing. Your clients are going to love you and they're going to want to tell others about you, want to, be raving fans who are going to review, refer, and return. That's the trifecta. And partnerships. So we are developing relationships with other people and who have attract similar clients, perhaps in different ways. For example, a mortgage broker. If you're working with realtors, they're going to know a lot of realtors. There are ways that you can serve each other, that you can build each other's business and basically have a synergistic relationship. Or even something like advertising in local shows. And we're going to talk about how to get the most out of that. You don't want to spend the time and money to have a booth if there's like a local home show and not get any leads out of it. We're going to want to make sure you're getting leads and you know what to do with them, how to communicate with them, and how to follow up so that you are staying top of mind. So when they're ready to say yes, when they're looking for your service, you're the person they reach out to. Now, I do want you to remember that building your client base is going to take some time, and consistency is key. So in this program, or in this section, we're going to be talking about systems around that consistency. Again, putting as much as we can on autopilot so you can focus on your genius zone and be looking at what's working for you in your market at this time with your niche. It's going to be a little different for everyone, and the only way to find out is through experimentation. Okay, now we're going to talk about consistency. And it may seem silly to have our own section completely dedicated to consistency, but I just really want to make sure that this is top of mind. The more consistently you show up, the greater the reward is going to be. And I'm sure you've seen that in your own life, but it's going to be particularly true in building your business online and in your network, right? Not only the digital world, but the actual interpersonal world. And I know it can be frustrating when you're first starting your business and it seems like nothing's happening, right? When does the popcorn start popping? Well, you got to get it in the microwave first or over the heat. So this is the part where you're building the heat, and eventually the popcorn is going to pop. All right. So what it's going to do, the more consistently you're posting or representing yourself online, whether or not that's the posts, the liking other people's posts of cold calling, of just creating content and putting it out there and not giving up, the more you're going to be recognized, the more you're going to be building trust, you're going to be familiar, you're going to be clarifying that message, you're going to be getting feedback, and you're going to be planting those long-term seeds for success. Again, you never know which one's going to sprout or when, what message that you put out there, when it's going to pay off. So even when it seems like it's getting old, again, just keep at it. If you need encouragement, come into the group. We are all here to give you a pep talk. And so yeah, thanks for bearing with me on this one. You've got this. You just got to keep at it. And I guarantee you that popcorn's going to start popping. Welcome to attraction marketing. Now, this is a really big topic, and we've already covered it a little bit in some ways, but I'm going to be clarifying a few things here and talk about how we're going to be integrating it into our systems, which are going to be part of the content creation, of scheduling, and as well as that time blocking and planning, and how I'm going to be helping you with that messaging so that you don't have to figure all of this out from scratch. Okay. So bear with me. Let's go through this. And I think it'll make sense just the more you start implementing it for yourself in your own business. So this is going to be the purpose of attraction marketing is to get you away from that cold calling, right? Instead of you chasing after your customers or potential clients, we're going to get them to be calling you. And the way that we do this is building on the foundations we've already laid, making you look very professional, experienced, like the answer to the questions that they have, you are the best solution to the problem that they have. And that's going to be by creating your message that's going to resonate with them, with solving their problems and creating value, so that you're also going to be pricing on value. It's going to be from planting all of these seeds where you're showing your quality work, and you're, again, in the areas where, for example, showing up where people are searching, whether that's the Google My Business map, whether it's your social media presence, whether it's how you're showing up on other people's Instagram pages and they're doing a little digging, right? Linking back to your personal Facebook page, which is going to show your business. These are all the things that are going to be part of this multi-legged stool propping up you, creating you as a little lighthouse, right? So that you're attracting people to you instead of chasing them. That's where it's a lot more fun, frankly. So again, we're creating our content with that purpose, that online presence with that purpose, social media, email marketing so that we can stay top of mind, and networking and partnerships, the power of a referral is huge. Much more likely to turn into a client if you've got someone already vouching for you. So the more we can leverage that, the better off we'll be. So what's going to follow is going to be ways that we can, again, continue building on these foundations of what you understand about attraction marketing and implement now consistency so that you are an client attraction powerhouse lighthouse. So you've got this, you're well on your way. And all we need to do now is keep putting the heat on, creating the right content, staying consistent, and being confident in what you're offering, and keep doing good work and then promoting it. So we're going to create those systems around it so that we can put this all on autopilot and create a flywheel effect where you're attracting people, doing great work for them, getting awesome reviews, referrals, returns, promoting that, getting more clients. You see how this starts to pick up momentum, starts to get you some results simply by doing your work to the best of your ability, because you've already done the work to put those systems in place to deliver with excellence, to attract the right people, to deliver on value, and to communicate that to your audience. Let's get after it. Here we have the guide to content creation, and this is going to be the theoretical side of things. So it's going to be going over the broad idea, and then there will also be the actual step-by-step example guide. So if this seems a little bit confusing, know that there's going to be there will be an option where you can actually see this in process. But the purpose of this is to create a monthly content strategy so that you will be engaging your audience, showcasing your expertise, and attracting potential clients. So our goal, of course, is going to be to spread your particular message to your particular clients. You want to choose your content formats based on what you've prioritized as your top platforms, whether that's more on the video side, more image-based, podcasts, Twitter. What are the kind of content, visual content things that you're going to need to be producing, as well as audio, perhaps if you're doing the podcast route, or some different options. And now we're going to actually plan it out. Again, we're integrating the principles of time blocking and planning so we can get this done. Keyword research, you've already done. Content ideas, again, we'll have some samples here so you're not having to reinvent the wheel. But there are a lot of different ways that you can engage and provide value to your audience, and you'll be noticing things as you're out there working. So make sure you've got a list going. That'll be part of the Google Drive training so that we've got everything organized and you can access it easily, quickly when you are in need of brilliant inspiration as far as allocating time. And, this may be a place where you want to bring in team members, somebody to help you with this process. Now, SEO optimization. This is going to be pretty simple because by now, I'm sure you know the areas you're wanting to promote, like that you serve in your town, your services, what people are looking for. It's going to come pretty naturally to you. Making sure that it's going to pass the test for your quality, and deciding where all you want to distribute this. And again, making that as easy as possible. And then there are some ways to expand beyond that. And of course, we want to pay attention to any regulations, make sure we're not stepping on anybody's copyright toes, go from there. So for an actual content calendar, this is what it sounds like. It's creating a calendar. It's taking a look at the month and deciding what goes where. The more intentional you can be about this, the more you can get more granular and break it down, the easier it's going to be. It might seem like a lot at first, but I promise you, it's going to be a lot easier this way. If you crank it all out in one chunk, schedule where it's going to go, then you're done. And it's going to, again, be doing that work for you. It's going to be your lighthouse out there bringing people in. So it's worth the time that it takes to do it ahead of time. So this could be as varied of doing a carousel one day, a video the next, a blog post, Facebook Live, Instagram stories, YouTube video. Now this example is going over a couple different platforms. Again, you're probably going to be wanting to focus on maybe 2, maybe 3, for calling Facebook and Instagram the same thing. What is it, what it is that you think is going to move the needle most in your particular business, in your particular niche? Really, the question for that is, where is your audience hanging out? Use that to decide where you are putting your time, effort, content, so that you can be of optimal effect. Also, are there themes that you can be working on as we get into the different seasons? So creating a detailed content calendar is going to help you stay organized and create that consistent, right? There's that word again, an engaging online presence. So throughout this month, you'll also be wanting to engage with those who engage with you. Make sure you're responding. Are there relevant hashtags? Make sure you're integrating those. You could consider boosting. I don't necessarily recommend that right off the bat. What we're trying to do now is just be consistent, show your quality work, and take as much of this off your hands as we can by getting it done in advance. So I hope this is helpful. And again, you can see the actual step-by-step guide to get a better idea of how to implement on your business. Wanted to take a moment here and just talk about call to actions so that you've got an idea of some different ones. So your CTA, what is it? This is a bridge between your content and your goal. What is the objective you're trying to accomplish with this content? What is it you want people to do? Remember, you're the one who needs to tell them. So it could be visit your website. It could be subscribe, download, contact us. It could be a link that you want them to click, a form to fill out. What is the desired next step that you have? And that might be different depending on where you have this content. If you've created a guide for real estate agents, it's going to be download. If it's your YouTube channel, it might be subscribe. If it's something with your sizzle reel, maybe it's, hey, do you want a result like this for your promotion? Contact me here. So making sure you've got that understanding and you're customizing it for that situation. But know that there are a lot of different ways to word these or make them, more powerful, more time urgent or not. But there should be something. There should always be some direction that you're giving people if you're trying to accomplish a certain outcome. So here are some examples. So a small bakery might post a picture and say, treat yourself today, visit our store for a slice of heaven. And I'm sure you can think of your own, or you've seen these in your own videos or blogs that you've visited. And that may be something to pay attention to. What resonates with you when you're consuming other people's content? What do you like? What do you not like? This is your chance to tailor for your brand, your messaging, and the feel that you want to have. So here are some suggested things to do in the follow-up. First of all, make sure you're responding to inquiries. Make sure you're noticing where these are coming from. Again, as we find what works best, we want to do more of that, and what doesn't work as well, do less of that. This is where you are going to get more leverage. So we're learning a lot about leverage. With drip campaigns, that's something associated with your email marketing. If we can have consistent calls to action in there, as well as giving value. You can use it to do different promotions, to gather feedback. It could be like, learning more about where you can improve or what people do or don't like. And just a way for you to be building a relationship. People like to be noticed. They like their feedback to be heard. This is your chance to do that. So the more people are engaging with you, again, make sure you're following up, that you're not sending anyone to a brick wall, right? This is a two-way street and a chance to build relationships. Now, email marketing is going to be one of your best friends, because this is going to make your ability to connect with people a lot easier. It's going to help you stay top of mind. It's going to help you nurture relationships, be able to give promotions, to showcase your work. This is a very powerful platform, and one that's also really overlooked, particularly by most drone pilots. So this is a place where you can also be standing out. So the principles of email marketing are, of course, building your email list. And this is your audience, essentially. You're going to start by collecting email addresses from your current customers, from website visitors, and anyone else who engages with you. So that is part of, again, not having a brick wall at your website. You're going to have a place for people to submit their information for a purpose. You'll be giving them something in exchange for their email address. And that's going to be great because these are the people who are interested in your services. So we want to capture them so that they don't forget about you, that you have the ability to stay top of mind through your follow-up. So once you've begun that email list, you do want a place to host it. There are a lot of different options. Some people choose MailChimp, Constant Contact, there's Aweber. There are a ton of platforms. There's, of course, the Droneforce platform, where all of this is already set up for you, but there's a lot of options out there. You can segment your list, and this is depending on how granular you want to get. This could be, you could break it into people who you worked with in the past, prospective people, break it down into, networking partners, similar businesses. It depends on how you want to communicate and how much time you want to put into this. So you could do just a targeted set of groups or more of a generic broad list. That one's really up to you. But what's nice with these softwares is you can actually segment pretty easily just by using tags. So that is something to at least consider, because if you want to be sending perhaps promotions to people who haven't purchased from you before, who haven't booked your services, you probably don't want to send that same message out to people who are already paying you your full price, right? So just kind of bear that in mind as you're starting to create these lists, so that you can develop a system to tag and create different segments within that. You will want to be developing your content, which again is staying top of mind. And how do you do that? You do that by providing value, by sharing what you've been working on, sharing reviews, by talking about different promotions you may have, seasonal events, things in the community. This can be the gamut. You can get as creative as you want here. Also, updates in the industry and things that are going to benefit your clients. What's going to engage them? What's going to help them get a win? And as much as you can tie that back to your services, the better. And these don't need to be huge emails. It can even just be checking in. You can set it up for people's birthdays. Just things, again, to show that you're still out there. And so when somebody is ready to say yes to your services, you're top of mind. All right, that's our ultimate purpose here, is for you to A, be top of mind, and B, give people a chance to say yes. You can be making offers for your services and people are going to say yes. All right, that's just like that call to action. You need to be telling people what to do next. You need to give an opportunity for them to book you. And that's what we're going to do through your email marketing. A lot of these different applications and marketing platforms are already going to have email formats that you can choose from. That's very simple in today's world. Attention grabbing subject lines, you can figure that out. We're not going to be the U.S. News and World Report here, as if that was, the Inquirer or whatever. But things that are relevant and interesting and aren't spammy. That's the bottom line. Scheduling your emails is also awesome, because it's going to, again, let you put as much of this as you want on autopilot. Scheduling in advance is going to make so much more room in your brain and also be growing your business. So that's so powerful. And again, that's through the Droneforce platform. We've got that all dialed in for you. Of course, we can customize it for your particular niche or the way you want to be speaking and how frequently, but a way to really streamline this process. So, and then of course there are regulations, because you don't want to be a spam person. And so you want to make sure that people can unsubscribe, that they've given you permission. We're not just pulling people's emails off of their website and putting them on our list and blasting them. We want people who have actively opted in, who want to hear from you, who have given permission to be contacted. So these are all really important things that are going to be a big part of your business and help you grow on autopilot. Now that we've talked about the email marketing, we better talk about who we're going to send these emails to, right? So let's talk about list building. So building an email list is going to be essential for your business to build not only a strong online presence, but also to nurture leads into customers and make your past customers be your future customers, your returning customers. Here are 5 great ways for you to get prospective clients to sign up for your email list. First of all, would be creating compelling content offers. This could be something on your Google My Business profile where you say, for October offering this promotional package, the spooky package or whatnot, and have people submit their email in exchange for the details. It could be something that's going to be helpful for your clients to succeed. You could have on your, your business Facebook page a checklist for them to get ready for an aerial photography shoot, to make it get more views, for example. That's something that a realtor would find to be useful, that they'd be willing to give their email address in exchange for. Now you got another person on your list. An engaging pop-up form. This comes back to not making your website a brick wall. We're going to make it as easy as possible for people to give their email address so they can continue to hear from you, whether that's just for a newsletter, for a promotion, or something that's going to take some maybe brainstorming on your part. What is it that you want to be engaging with? And this will be resonating with your message, your niche, but that'll be something to include on your website. We can do contests and giveaways. That might be more tied to an actual in-person event, such as a local home show. Landing pages. So here is we're getting more onto the paid advertising side of things. But for example, you could use a Facebook ad where you could even just promote a review that you've gotten, an excellent review, and say, hey, if you'd like service like this, and click here. And that will take them to a landing page where, again, you can show more reviews and have them submit their information. A lot of different ways to go about that. And a personalized email sign-up form. So that ties into what you're going to be doing on your website. But again, you can be specific here and drive different interests to different places to sign up. And that'll tie back into your email list segmentation. And that's where you can get more specific in your messaging. So this is all a great place for you to start. Again, start simple. This doesn't need to be a huge thing, but you do need to need a compelling reason for people to sign up for your list. You want to have it easy for people to sign up on your list. And you want to then have a way to follow up with them once they're on your list. Those are the 3 foundations of email marketing and of list building. So now that you've got that theory, let's take a look at how we would actually implement that. An example strategy. So this would be a strategic plan to grow your email list by 100 subscribers in 1 month. So, and this is great too. This is about the strategy, and we're going to integrate the tactics into the strategy. But there's a really clear objective here. This also ties into your goals, right? SMART goals, a specific, measurable, achievable, really targeted goal. So if your goal is to increase your list by 100 subscribers, we've got to break it down and reverse engineer the steps to success. So first of all, you want to decide who it is you're targeting. And again, it can be different audiences depending on your different services, different potential partners, who is in your community, what is what you've learned from your previous marketing attempts about what works and what doesn't. So you may want to break that into a couple different segments, a couple different targeted groups, and decide what's going to be appealing to them. What is it what's something you can offer that's compelling and valuable enough that will make them willing to trade their email address for it. Now we're going to implement the power of your email marketing platform you've got set up and those segments you've already decided on to create different campaigns. And an email campaign is essentially it'll consist of a welcome email. You may have a confirming that they've opted in, that they're there on purpose and they want to hear from you. And then the follow-up, which is going to be not only welcoming them to your list and giving that item of value, but then continuing to nurture the relationship and stay top of mind. You can use social media platforms to drive this list growth through consistently sharing, through having those calls to action, through potentially advertising, and by networking. This is, again, where it's so powerful. If you've got your information on your personal page and you're commenting on other people's posts who are related to you, whether that's another real estate agent and you're like, congrats on that listing, people are curious and they're going to come back and look at you. And if you are giving them a link that's going to put them to a place where they can give you their information, you're going to be adding to your list. sort of like the planting seeds thing, but a little bit in reverse, giving people an opportunity to say yes. Hugely powerful. You got to keep that top of mind as you decide how to use your digital real estate. Collaborations and partnerships can be really powerful because if you're working with people who already have an audience and you have their endorsement, that's going to make you trusted by proxy, essentially. And that's going to make that relationship that much stronger right off the bat. Getting to know, like, and trust is our entire goal of email marketing. And so if you've already got that starting off, you're going to be ahead of the curve. So thinking of who you can collaborate with, whether that's somebody who's more influential in the real estate community, if that's your target, a managing broker, perhaps. This will tie into what we'll talk about later too, which is going one-to-many instead of just one-to-one. But a collaboration or partnership is going to get you halfway there. It could be with different events that are coming up. Just keeping your eye out on what is in your community that you can uniquely provide value and make your presence known. Website optimization can also be helpful. I know we talk a lot about optimization and a lot about websites, but it's because it's so crucial. So we want to make sure that that website is user-friendly, that it gives something of value so that you can be capturing those subscribers. And again, making sure that if you're planning this in advance and you're being consistent in your outreach and in finding those collaborations of creating the content and of following up with people, it's going to pay off in spades and help you meet the timeline, whether that's a month or 3-month period, to achieve your goal. You've got this. Let me know what your goal is. I challenge you to make a goal around your email list and let me know what it is and see if we can't help you hit it. Okay, so referral partners. So I've done a bit of digging and tried to figure out some options for you. So referral partners are, of course, people who might be sending business your way, people you could be forming different relationships, partnerships with, perhaps a mutual referral program. So any of these businesses or organizations may benefit from you as a drone pilot, whatever it is in your niche. And building these relationships is going to be mutually beneficial because they can refer you clients and you can refer them back. And of course, you can help them look really good. So we've got real estate agents, construction companies, architects, right? That may be, they're definitely going to have an in with construction companies. Another way to build a relationship, build know, like, and trust without going directly to the ultimate goal, but finding somebody in the interim who already has those relationships built and trying to leverage that. Event planners, insurance agencies, any of these very wide variety of companies, associations, types of businesses can potentially help you in your niche to grow. Here are some more options where any of these may benefit from your services and you can use them to grow your profile. You might have the opportunity to save, for example, if there's a specific company, for example, the winery and vineyard owners, perhaps you can create a promotional video for them and then offer to, include a feature in their newsletter to their clients, or to, they may then have an in with wedding planners if that's something you're interested in branching into. So again, that's where you can get a little bit creative on thinking, and you never know where that relationship may have that wider audience. They can really be beneficial for growing your name and go from there. Welcome to Stand Out Networking. Now, I wanted to create this training because too many times I have seen a variety of businesses, including drone service providers, who are taking the time to have a booth somewhere, whether that's a home services event, a different association, or whatnot. And if you're going to take the time, the money, the effort to have a booth somewhere or represent your business in kind of this public forum, I want you to make sure you're getting the most out of it, right? So what I commonly see is just a simple booth. Maybe they've got the where you throw the bean bags or some sort of small raffle. But there are ways to be a lot more dynamic, engaging, to grow your list, but also start to establish relationships, right? If you're going to be doing and putting out effort, it's important to leverage it to get the most you possibly can out of it. It's going to help you prevent burnout, get the most bang for your buck, and grow more quickly, of course. So, being at an event like a networking event or a conference of some sort can really help you to make those connections. And here are some ways for you to stand out. You could do a virtual reality experience. First person view drones, FPV, is really cool too. A lot of people love that. I think I skipped ahead here. Let's start with the live drone demonstrations. A lot of people haven't flown a drone and they're fascinated. So depending on the regulations and safety of where you are, as well as your own comfort in letting people experiment, that might be something to consider. Or maybe a mini drone would be something that they could play with. I guarantee that would be a huge draw to your booth. Something interesting to look at. Custom swag, stuff we all get, right? Thank you, Michael Scott. Again, this can be something like something that's specific to you. You don't want to just give out some random junk, but an opportunity to engage with people. That's really what's behind the swag. The opportunity to spark a conversation and then hopefully get their name and email in exchange for this little gift. A contest can be really fun and engaging, especially if you've got a drone integrated into it somehow, or something that got a fun prize at the end. A workshop. So again, if you're helping to educate on your potential client on something that's going to benefit them, they're a lot more likely to say yes and engage. We already talked about that FPV or virtual reality, and just getting creative about what is cool about your niche and your technology that's going to draw people. Because a lot of people, what is really known and common to you is going to be new to a lot of people. And that can be a really big draw. You could take a picture of the whole crowd. What better way to put your name out there than do that? And then you're adding value as well to the planners. You're growing that relationship. You have a reason to follow up. Perhaps you can say, hey, if I take this photo and promote it, can I get a list of the people attending? You never know. You've got to plant those seeds, turn on the heat, see where the popcorn's popping, if I'm mixing metaphors here. But again, getting creative, thinking a little bit outside the box and taking a bit of a risk. You never know where it's going to pay off, but you got to be out there. In an interactive map. So again, just something that really highlights what you do, where you do it, how you do it, why to choose you, or again, something cool. What is common to you is going to be new to other people and can be a really neat experience. So I hope that you find this to be inspiring if you yourself are considering doing an in-person event. And I look forward to hearing how you can integrate this into your own business growth. Leveraging one-to-many is one of my very favorite ways to market because my life got a lot easier when I realized I didn't have to be doing my prospecting one-to-one. When I realized I could integrate the principle of that instant authority through endorsement, right? From the referral, and use that to get my message to a lot of people at one time. This also helps with it not being super fatiguing. If you're not doing a bunch of cold calling, instead you're kind of hijacking up to the next level, or hacking, I guess not hijacking, but hacking your way into an instant relationship. So here are some of the principles of leveraging one-to-many, which is essentially just reaching a wider audience and maximizing your marketing efforts. So we can do educational webinars or workshops. You could create a little webinar and have it on your website. That's a way for you to do one presentation one time and get it in front of a lot of people when they are ready to see it. Doing the work one time and using it over and over with no additional effort, huge. Creating your high value quality video content that's going to be engaging. This is part of the sizzle reel, right? We want something that's going to make people say yes, where you put that effort in to create it once, and it's going to be doing the talking for you, to do the showcasing for you. Email marketing. This is another way of one-to-many. You write one email, it's going to go out to your whole audience. And when we put into place these ways to be growing your list on autopilot through the various seeds we've been planting, places they can opt in, reasons to opt in. It's going to be growing your audience, and your message is going to be even more widely spread for that. Networking events and seminars. Again, instead of trying to take people out for coffee one-to-one, you can go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a Lions Club, something where you're going to find a concentrated group of your ideal audience and be able to connect with a lot of them at once. There are also some affiliate marketing programs which you could basically create, where you're asking for referrals and giving an incentive. So that might be a little more than what you want to start off with, but it's just something to consider. A way to get somebody to be doing the work for you, to be bringing you business, and to say thank you for that. So I hope that this gives you some different ideas. Make sure you take a look at the meeting hack method too. I think we call it the Zoom meeting hack. This is a way that I used to get in front of an entire brokerage office and book jobs just from that, instead of trying to cold call realtors. So again, by using the endorsement of them, of their overall broker, to be in a meeting where they were expecting to be, talked to by people who are already known, liked, and trusted, that was a really great way to instantly build that relationship and book jobs. So make sure you take a look for that. The link should be nearby this module. If you're here, you are running a real business. And part of running a real business means that you need to be following up with your leads. So it's not enough, unfortunately, just to get them, but you need to be following up in a way that keeps you top of mind and gives them an opportunity to say yes, right? Your business is going to be run by doing work, and this is going to be a great way for you to systematically create that pipeline that's going to continue to keep your schedule full. So let's talk about some different ways for you to track leads and maximize how many of them are turned into actual clients, which we're going to turn into raving fans, which are going to refer, review, and return. All right. So let's talk about creating a lead pipeline management system. So we need to talk about first your sales funnel. We've talked about lead generation. This is where you're generating leads, whether they're opting in for your item of value or from your social media, a networking event, whatnot. Then building a relationship through your email marketing or through direct reach out. And then we're going to be converting them into paying customers, right? This is the money part. And then, of course, returning through nurturing and providing value again in the future. So what is your lead management tool? Some people you can do this with something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't need to be complicated. But what it needs to do is make sure that you have a system in place to follow up with people consistently. Pretty simple. There are a lot of different CRMs. There's some expensive ones like Salesforce. Pipedrive isn't too bad. Again, Excel, you can use that. Through the Droneforce, there is a platform that also integrates that to make it simple for you. But it's whatever, as complex as you want to make it, as detailed as you want to make it. But I really encourage you to at least have a system, because if your system is just trying to remember to email people every so often to see if they might want to book you, I guarantee it's not going to be sustainable. You're going to get burned out. You're going to get discouraged. When we're tracking our leads and putting them through a progression of follow-up and a strategy that you've already created, there's going to be a lot higher conversion. And the work you've done to put in to get these leads, you're going to be kind of honoring that, right? Because you're going to not just have obtained them, but done the work to keep them. The work that the time, the energy, the money that it takes to get a lead, you need to maximize to have that sustainable business. So what is the data that you're collecting? How are you going to be using that? What is it that you're trying to accomplish with these leads? And what is your follow-up plan? Is it going to be more than just your emails? Do you want to be reaching out once a quarter? Are you going to be watching people's birthdays on Facebook? What else can you be offering routinely that's of value? Whether that's a workshop, maybe inviting people to come fly your new drone or check out that first-person viewing, or a lot of different ways where you can get creative, where you can be building know, like, and trust stay top of mind, and give people an opportunity to say yes. So it's just very simple, but really important for the growth of your business and the consistency, right? We're all about getting clients like clockwork. This tracking is an absolutely critical part of that. So that nurturing, and you can get even more granular. You could decide in scores and values and this and that. But the bottom line is just having a method in place, a system that you can be using to leverage the work that you've already done to make sure that the people you've got leads on know you're the person to call when they're ready to say yes to your service. So there will be an overview of the Droneforce system here too to give you an idea. But even if it's as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, I encourage you to start today to follow up on your leads. Now, I've talked a lot about social proof, so let's dive into what that really means. Social proof is the concept that people will follow the actions of the majority, believing that if many people are doing something, it must be the right thing to do or beneficial. For small business, social proof can be an influential tool to build credibility and attract customers. So for 3 examples, we have customer testimonials and reviews, which we've already looked at on places like Google My Business, of integrating into your website, or even of using for a little advertisement online, right? On Facebook to use that to draw in new leads. We also have case studies and success stories. These can be created and actually used as that lead magnet or item of value to get people to trade their emails for, and a way for you to really illustrate how your service can be of benefit to your ideal client. How has it benefited people in the past in a way that they can see themselves in their same footprints and implement on their own? What kind of success are people going to want to emulate or have for themselves? Also, the social media is going to be a way to grow that social proof. This is where it's important to be consistent because, there are the vanity metrics, but also just the time that you've been online. People are going to look at when you were established and if you've been consistent. If you were looking for a service provider, are you going to be more inclined to go with the one who started last week and has no content, or somebody who's been posting things that are relevant to what you're trying to achieve in a consistent manner? Right? Those are those seeds that you planted. They're starting to sprout a little bit here and pay off. So let's take a look at this in action. So a question here is, who are you going to choose? If you were looking for a drone photographer near me, and these were your options. So you see somebody paid for this position, right? But these 3, they are in that same optimal top pack position simply through their own efforts, which are, of course, optimizing their website, being consistent with their name, address, phone number online, having active social platforms, and just, sending all of these signals we've talked about to Google. But we've got Views by Sean, has 36 reviews. They've got their website linked. Sky Guide only has 7 reviews. And then Nick Greyer, I would probably choose Views by Sean, simply based on the number of reviews, the fact that he's got a little more information here. But any of these 2 would probably be the better ones because they've taken the time to give more information. And that's part of that social proof, as well as just the sheer volume of reviews. So all of these things are going to be weighted and give people a reason to call you or to call your competitor. So that's something important to pay attention to. Now, we've talked a little bit about leveraging reviews, but I wanted to give some more concrete examples of the power of using a positive review and how that it doesn't need to just be a 5-star review on your Google My Business page, but instead can basically be an advertisement for you depending on how you implement it. So these can be really powerful tools in your marketing because they're going to be building that trust. People want to know, can they trust you? This is going to tell them yes. So on your website, you could have a dedicated testimonial page. This could be showing actual videos. You could do video testimonials. Something though for people to say, hey, this person's legit. See what they've done for this person. They can do that for me. On the product and service pages on your website and on Google My Business, you could have the relevant testimonials as well. Again, that's going to be giving more power, more weight to the words of what you say you're doing when you can actually show somebody else has benefited from it, liked it, had a positive experience. Email marketing, same thing. We're going to make this a regular part of how you're reaching out, just sharing what good work you've done on the behalf of other people. Social media, that's an easy post, right? Just a screenshot of what somebody has said awesome about you. And of course, integrating that into case studies and success stories. We want to be using the benefits you've been providing to people and how much they've loved it to be attracting more people just like that, right? Because if you're creating an excellent service based on value that you can deliver this wow experience every time, then we want more people who want exactly that same thing so that you can rinse and repeat. All right, you've got this. Now let's talk about staying top of mind. We are going to find the local bus company and put your face on the side of a bus. No, just kidding. There are much better ways to stay top of mind that don't involve your face on a bus or a bus stop bench. Of course, we've talked about the regular email marketing campaigns, which can be, that regular nurture series, but also a monthly newsletter. Again, we're going to segment your list, so the different ways of staying top of mind. Personalized follow-up emails. Not everything's going to be a blast, right? Not everything's going to go to everyone. For example, you could do the birthday emails, or if you see somebody's got something specific on social media that you've commented on or even just noticed, you can send in emails, saying that. This is about being human. Not everything has to have a strategy behind it or a, specific outcome. You're building relationships. So just show you care, show you notice things, help people celebrate, or acknowledge when things are tough, if they share something about that. Again, you're building relationships, and that involves a little bit of extra work, outreach, and recognition. In social media engagement, same thing. Again, you're not just posting and expecting everyone to flock to you. You want to be giving more than you get. If you get one comment, try to leave 5. If you're following that rule, I guarantee you're going to get eyes on you. People are going to be noticing you that much more just simply through your giving rather than demanding attention, being pushy, or chasing people. Again, that's part of the principle of attraction marketing, which is more fun. Exclusive events and webinars. Again, getting creative about ways you can serve your clients. How can you benefit them? What would be helpful for them to know? Or what could be something they could integrate into their marketing that would benefit them? Personalized holiday greetings. Again, there are a lot of different holidays, obviously, each year. So making sure you're taking advantage of those to stay in touch. I read a story once of a car salesman who was the most successful of his, dealership or whatever after 30 years. And the only thing he did differently than the other salespeople was each year on he kept track of all of his customers' birthdays, and he would send them a postcard with a smiley face on it that says, "I like you," I think was the message on the front. And then on the back, he'd write happy birthday in his name. And that was enough for people to feel seen by their car salesman. So every 5 or 6 years or whatever the average time is that people buy new cars, that he was the person they went back to just because of that simple touch. Simple staying top of mind consistently, not an outcome in mind every year. He's not like, come buy a car from me today, just saying, I like you, happy birthday. So try to keep that in mind as you're doing these outreaches. Just surely let people know you appreciate them, that you're paying attention, that you want to support their business. And that's going to give you a lot of really great ideas about how to stay top of mind. Okay, the local celebrity method is another favorite of mine. And if you haven't seen me asking Gary Vee a question, make sure you pop over to that video. I'll make sure a link is near this, because this is something that he actually touches on with this question I asked him. The question I asked him was about branding, whether building a brand around your name or kind of the business name. And one of the things that he said is that the number one arbitrage to success is through celebrity, through recognition. So building on that principle, if we can get you known as the drone person in your niche, that's going to instantly give you more authority, create a higher value for your services, help you get more of those referrals because people know who you are. And so what are ways that we can help you build that local authority, local celebrity? There are a lot of different ways, but here are some ideas to get you started. First of all, getting a highlight in the local newspaper. This may be easier than you think. If you take a step back and think about what a newspaper is looking for, they're always looking for interesting stories in the community. So if you hand them something on a silver platter, they're going to be a lot more inclined to do it. And I've actually had success with this on a couple different occasions, of emailing the local columnist in the area I was interested in and simply saying, hey, for one example, I'm working with a local family builder. They're doing a new subdivision. These homes are going to be helping people at this price point. I actually gave a couple different angles for them. They called, followed up, did a feature. And that was basically free advertising and free authority building for the construction company. And that wouldn't have been something that they would have found on their own. But when it came into their inbox, clearly packaged, an easy yes, an opportunity to say yes, it went ahead. A YouTube channel with business professional interviews. How can you help other people look like celebrities? You could start a YouTube channel and be interviewing people who are relevant to your niche, whether that's other real estate agents or builders, those in the solar industry, other drone pilots and other niches, anything that you are going to be using to expand your network, where you can be learning and sharing information, right? You don't have to be the expert in everything if you're interviewing experts. It's a way for you to build your own platform by benefiting a lot of other people by kind of bringing it all together. So that could be an interesting angle if you're so inclined. Hosting educational workshops and webinars, again, topics that are going to benefit the people that you want to serve. How can you attract them to you by offering things that they can actually implement in their own business and find success? Community involvement and sponsorships, whether that's putting up a booth at a local event, helping volunteer, or just getting your name out in some other way. The more people see your name, the more familiar it is, the more likely they're going to be choosing you to call. And leveraging online reviews and testimonials, which we just went through, right? But again, if people are seeing that on Facebook, they're going to know that you already are the person with these good reviews, has gotten good results for other people. They've seen the case study. This is a way for you to grow your authority. So these are all ways that you can be working to build that authority. And again, consistency is key. So when you're continually looking for ways to engage in the community, provide high quality services, be giving back in different ways, be authentically looking to connect and grow your network and serve others, you're going to be growing your reputation as a local expert and be getting that many more calls and jobs because of it. So here's an example of someone who actually got in the New York Times, a drone pilot. So I don't know that they actually reached out to the New York Times and asked for or gave the idea for an article, probably not. But what's interesting is they got their images in the paper, and at the end, they had their own links. Let's see. Oh, here on Instagram and Facebook. So you can imagine people in their community are going to always think of Caleb Kenna as the drone pilot in Vermont, in Middlebury, Vermont. And I'll bet he got a lot of new followers and clicks on his Facebook. And that's going to be something that he can utilize. Say, hey, did you see me featured in the New York Times? That can be quite a claim to fame to build him as a professional, as the trusted authority in the service. So I hope this gave you some ideas, and I look forward to seeing you in your local paper.